subscribe, like the video, and, if possible, join Patreon. But if you don't have much money, you can support the channel by watching the novels on euroaudiobooks.com. Remember that you can participate in the polls so that your favorite novel gets published for free.
Prunes after washing them directly? Brother, stop joking. Are mushrooms ingredients eaten raw? Maybe they will go to the hospital. Then what is Lin Fan doing? It's less than half an hour. 9, however, in the voice of the crowd. I saw Lin Fan turn around, return to the cooking table, and picked up another ingredient. Everyone was shocked. Chapter 115 Turn the Dragon Pot with Master Jia's Steel Bar, 2/5 for subscription. Lin Fan's next move shocked everyone in the arena again. The surprise was not because he picked up the Qinglong pot, but because he picked up another ingredient. Flour. Kawashima Rei hurriedly stepped forward and asked, "Flour. It's flour." There are only 25 minutes left at the moment. Lin Fan, are you sure you can really do it well? To knead the dough, to make them into food at a time. However, it is much more troublesome than grinding beans on the spot. Kawashima Rei was pondering carefully. However, at this time, Lin Fan suddenly thought of a kitchen utensil. In the eyes of others, Lin Fan at this time seems to be thinking. However, he is opening the system. Excuse me, host, do you want to exchange 1 million points to buy Master Xia's steel rod? Yes or no? Lin Fan still did not hesitate and chose yes, of course. This kitchenware will also be brushed in the kitchenware upper box he brought. Lin Fan walked towards the box again and leaned over to open it. Kawashima Rei was about to stare at her, looking forward to some amazing kitchen utensils. Of course, Lin Fan lived up to expectations and took out the steel rod from the box. At this time, the steel rod was still split into 2 parts. Kawashima Rei was surprised. This is not a wooden stick, but a 2-piece steel stick? Speaking of which, Kawashima Rei did not forget to laugh. Watching Lin Fan's cooking will give you an illusion. I know he's cooking. I don't know. I think he's going to fight. See Lin Fan take out 2 steel rods and then merge them in the middle. Had 2 steel rods combined into 1. Seeing this, everyone held their breath and stared at it. Lin Fan silently walked back to the cooking table, watching the flour scattered on the table. Kawashima Rei said, "It won't be. Use this steel rod to knead the noodles? I used to use wooden sticks. Suddenly replaced by steel sticks. What's so special about it?" 35 before he finished speaking, Lin Fan suddenly picked up the steel rod and began to spin rapidly. This familiar technique. Everyone knows what will happen next. The Bailuo snake turns the chain again. This is not the first time we have seen each other, and the students off the field are still exclaiming, shouting, and applauding. A white giant python formed and slowly fell. It was still a ball of white dough, quietly sitting on the table. At this time, everyone didn't answer. What the hell was Lin Fan going to do, and what did the steel rod in his hand mean? It's just that Kawashima Rei suddenly said again, "I didn't notice just now that this steel rod is so beautifully made." And the head position of the steel rod is a small 5-pointed star. Does this have any special meaning? Or rather, because of the 5-pointed star and the 5-pointed star, it can bless the Bailuo snake just now. Kawashima Rei exclaimed from the side. Lin Fan remained calm and smiled. There is no special blessing. 35. These 5-pointed stars just represent the chef who Eizan Zhijin was defeated by this steel bar. 35. Wow. Began to become the focus of discussion. Lin Fan continued. With this steel rod, every time a chef is defeated, a 5-pointed star will be engraved on it. So, AAA, the row of 5-pointed stars you see is not decoration. Actually, it's the past glory of this stick. Kawashima Rei took a deep breath. Lin Fan calmly smiled and said, "In the last halberd fight, use it to fight against Senior Secretary. Let the opponent be defeated by this steel rod. This is respect for the opponent." 35. Aishi Tsukasa on the side was stunned. Once again, the students off the field couldn't stop boiling. Lin Fan, stop bragging here. This time I think it's too much. It's just an ordinary steel rod. It's so wicked. 39. On the big screen, I roughly counted the stars. And if that's the case, suffocating. If that's the case, if you use it to compete, as Eishit Tsukasa. You will respect your opponent, whether you win or not. Let's talk about it. There was too much information all of a sudden, and suddenly there was a dragon pot. And now there is a steel stick. This is the final game, and the rhythm of good things must be brought out. 99. Now I want to see what Lin Fan is going to do. There are only 15 minutes left of the deadline. The students discussed the time. Kawashima Rei looked at the time and quickly reminded, Lin Fan, there are only 15 minutes left until the deadline. 99. You have to hurry. With that said, look at Eishit Tsukasa. On the other side, Eishit Tsukasa has transformed the entire cooking area into an art area. Every step is very elegant, skilled in movements. Every process was developed after he had a dialogue with the ingredients. At this time, the venue is full of fragrance. The rich meat fragrance, the fresh fragrance of mushrooms, and the fragrance of tea are added. This scent is pervasive in every corner of the venue. The students were intoxicated just by surrounding the smell. It's just the smell, the aroma is so tempting. I really want to taste it. Senior C's cooking has always been so elegant. I really want to try it, and I will be satisfied with just one bite. The aroma of tea leaves and the aroma of different tea leaves. Eishit Tsukasa should have applied them to different ingredients, which is amazing. All the eyes of the students are focused on the cooking area of Eishit Tsukasa. Such a scene makes them feel what is called this time and this time. Before this final halberd, Lin Fan had been surrounded by the aura of the protagonist, always the focus of the audience. However, at this moment, everyone's focus is not on him because Eishit Tsukasa is cooking, and because Lin Fan has not made a decent prototype until now. Students think so. They even felt that this time, there would be no more miracles. After all, there are only 10 minutes left of the deadline. On Lin Fan's side, he still doesn't know what he's going to do. Kawashima Rei once again reported the time. There are still 9 minutes before the deadline for eating halberd. Saying that, he looked at Lin Fan. At this moment, Lin Fan, who was slowly lingering, suddenly felt like his body was wound up. The speed of the method instantly became faster. It's two completely different styles from the rhythm just now. Kawashima Rei was surprised. Lin Fan's speed has become faster? Could it be? 39. After everything is ready, start to exert force? There are still 8 minutes and 40 seconds left. Can he catch up? While the original focus on Eishit Tsukasa fell on Lin Fan in an instant. Lin Fan smiled silently. The show has just begun. 39. From now on, I will be in charge of the rhythm on the court. 99. After he finished speaking, Lin Fan quickly picked up the steel rod, used the steel rod to roll out the dough from the dough, and started to roll into the dough. Kawashima Rei strode up and took a closer look. Oh my God, Lin Fan is rolling out the dough with a steel stick? From my visual inspection, this dough is probably thin into paper. Is that why he switched to steel bars? However, there is not much time left. There are still 6 minutes until the deadline. 35. Can Lin Fan completely turn things around? At the moment when Rei Kawashima spoke, whoosh whoosh, Lin Fan's hand speed was so fast that he could only see ghost images. The naked eye could not see the process of rolling out the dough, but only saw sheets of dough thinner than paper. After being thrown into the air, it draws a beautiful and perfect arc in the air. It ends up in a pre-prepared vessel. Swish, swish, fast. 1, 10, 20. In the blink of an eye, the piles of dough have been rolled out. And it was at this moment that everyone realized it. These skins are actually colored. Kawashima Rei looked at it carefully and exclaimed, dough skin, green, red, white, yellow. Is it? When mixing noodles, tea leaves are added to the flour? Lin Fan said with a smile, yes. Good tea leaves must be carefully screened, ground into tea powder, and mixed into the flour. This kind of dough will have a pure tea fragrance when you eat it. After speaking, Lin Fan continued. Kawashima Rei said excitedly, there are only the last 2 minutes left in the remaining time. Lin Fan spent a lot of time in processing the ingredients. Is there enough time? It's almost the last minute and 40 seconds. 39. If it's only 10 seconds short, all the previous efforts will be for nothing. The emotions of Rei Kawashima and the students were extremely nervous by Lin Fan. That's what Lin Fan wants. Cooking in a lifeless manner, there was no difficulty at all, and I was about to fall asleep. Now this vibe, he likes it. Everything is under control. There's still 50 seconds left before the deadline. Kawashima Rei's voice trembled a little. At this time, Lin Fan took out the Qinglong pot. This is how to use the Qinglong pot. Watch it. The voice fell. Whoosh whoosh. This chapter contains pictures. Click the illustration button in the lower right corner of the screen to view the pictures. Chapter 116, Flavored Tea Cuisine versus Phoenix Crystal Dumpling. 3/5 for subscription. Whoosh whoosh, the dough was in Lin Fan's hands, and he didn't even see how the filling was put into it. Can only see a little. Lin Fan squeezed the palm of his hand. A plum dumpling is wrapped. Seeing him throw it lightly, the dumplings flew into the Qinglong pot. Whoosh whoosh, Lin Fan repeats this action, one with a colorful dumpling falling into the Qinglong pot. Kawashima Rei was surprised and said, "Also, there are still 30 seconds." The audience off the field was like watching a thrilling movie. The toes were clenched. On the jury table, the three judges also subconsciously made a swallowing gesture. Nakiri Senzaman also clenched his fists. The old man whispered, "This stinky boy. Does cooking have to be so exciting?" Crazy the judge on the side said, "Nakiri Senpai, I found out. If you have a bad heart, you can't see Lin Fan's halberd. It's like a roller coaster. Emotions are ups and downs, sometimes nervous and then lost. When you clearly feel that there is no hope, this guy explodes the scene again. You can only say it's nice to be young," the judge said. On the field at this time, Lin Fan had already pushed the final showdown of the halberd to the highest point of the game. The students stood up from their seats, throwing the coat and hat in his hand into the air to vent his emotions at this time. They cheered and shouted excitedly. Even Rei Kawashima on stage. "I have never seen it before. A halberd-eating duel can actually do this," Kawashima Rei said excitedly. There are still 20 seconds. The cheers of the students grew louder. Lin Fan is also getting faster and faster. Everyone is counting down the skins on his hands. T8. In the end, Kawashima Rei exclaimed. The last dumpling fell into the Qinglong pot. Then, it also entered the countdown. Even Eishi Tsukasa, who has always been calm, put down the kitchen utensils in his hand after cooking and watched silently. The students counted down in unison. +9, 8. Kakaka, a golden light burst out from the Qinglong pot in an instant. This light is more dazzling than any kitchenware before it. It's so dazzling that you can't open your eyes. Everyone in the venue subconsciously covered their eyes. This light is so dazzling. I can't even see it through my fingers. I could barely read it before, but this time I was completely blocked by this golden light. Oh my God, what kind of fairy dish is this? It's too exaggerated. 35. What the hell is going on? I can't see it at all. A piece of boiling. Just in this boiling sound, the golden light gradually disappeared. Everyone's eyes slowly recovered. At this time, the even more shocking scene was on the cooking table in front of him. The three discs were crystal clear and were pieced together to look like a phoenix. Under the spotlight, the dumplings sparkled like jewels. Wow. Nakiri Senzaman, who was on the jury, couldn't help but lean forward. Can't wait to catch a glimpse. Lin Fan was carrying the dumplings, and there was one plate left, and Kawashima Rei hurriedly stepped forward to help. Looking at the phoenix on the plate, the flavor of the sauce outlines the flame. Gold, white, and red feathers. Lifelike, as if it will fly out of the plate in the next second. After Lin Fan put down the dishes, he smiled and said, "I made this Phoenix Crystal Dumpling. Please try it." At this time, Eishi Tsukasa followed closely behind. Putting down the dishes he made, he said calmly, 4 flavors of tea dishes. Please taste." The three judges looked again at Eishi Tsukasa's tea dishes. At a glance, on the plate, there are 4 mashed meats in the shape of tea leaves, representing 4 different flavors of tea leaves. The tea is also sprinkled with sauce. It looks beautiful and appetizing. Eishi Tsukasa's eyes looked at Lin Fan's crystal dumplings intentionally or unintentionally. The phoenix in the plate, is simply vivid. I can't help but take a second look and even want to taste it. The flaming phoenix tail drawn with sauce is so realistic that it seems that it is really about to catch fire. There is also the phoenix body and feathers that are pieced together in various colors. It was in the spotlight at the moment. The water droplets on the feathers, under the reflection of the light, glistened. Fantastic! Eishi Tsukasa couldn't help but praise. Then he regained his composure and watched his cooking. Of course, he doesn't think his cooking is bad either. Afterwards, the judges looked at the two works of art and didn't know which one to take first. Nakiri Senzaman subconsciously picked up a crystal dumpling. Because the dough is rolled to the thickness of a paper, it is matched with colored tea leaves and heated at the end. The dumpling skin became translucent after heating, and the filling inside was looming, which looked very appetizing. After speaking, Nakiri Senzaman picked up the light green dumpling and ate it in his mouth. After chewing carefully, wow, I saw that he was still emotional, and once again picked up the green dumplings. Eat it again. Green tea is the fresh taste of green tea and the filling. The filling is asparagus. The dumpling skin blended with green tea gives an instant feeling of returning to nature. What's the smell? 99 Nakiri Senzaman said, subconsciously picking up a pale, yellow dumpling. Another surprise. Yes. Lin Fan smiled and said it's white tea. It is paired with fresh matsutake mushrooms, which makes the taste more crisp and refreshing. Speaking of which, Lin Fan pointed to the remaining dumplings. He continued, the red one is black tea, with sweet peppers in it and some dry goods. The brown one is dark tea, paired with shiitake mushrooms. Each flavor of dumplings is matched with the same ingredients. After blending the flavors of the tea leaves, a whole new taste was created. Because after a day of eating halberds, considering that the judges are already tired of taste, if they come to meat ingredients, it will definitely increase the burden on the taste. Even if you achieve the ultimate perfection, you can't taste anything new. But I'm all vegetarian, and it's going to be a drop of nectar on a hot summer day. Saves dry and boring taste buds. Fresh and refined, refreshed. 5 pat, Lin Fan just finished speaking. Seeing Nakiri Senzaman immediately couldn't help but applaud. Wonderful, really wonderful. These fresh ingredients seem to have refreshed my greasy taste buds. 39. Without meat ingredients, it is indeed a very flattering and sensible choice. Having said that, everyone looked at Eishi Tsukasa subconsciously. After all, he used meat ingredients. However, after hearing this, Eishi Tsukasa calmly said, I don't think so. 35. As long as you can keep the good ingredients and focus on research, and listen what they have to say. 99. The dishes made in this way must be the most delicious dishes in the world. 99. This kind of food, when you eat it, will also adapt to the taste buds. 35. As long as there is no reservation. The characteristics of the ingredients are brought to the extreme. All of what Lin Fan said is because they didn't listen to the ingredients very well in the previous few halberds. There will be confusion in the mix, which will tire the judges' tongues. However, my dishes are carefully matched. There is no such thing as Lin Fan said. Meat makes the taste tired. Lin Fan laughed without saying a word. Then, the judges exchanged. The two judges tasted Lin Fan's crystal dumplings, while Nakiri Senzaman long Eishi Tsukasa's tea dishes. The three judges entered at the same time. Wow, Nakiri Senzaman's excitement just now was soothed. The two judges, calm and new once again magnificent. This scene is very shocking. At this time, Kawashima Rei, who was standing aside, was stunned. Suddenly, seeing Eishi Tsukasa pick up the small spoon, he calmly said, Kawashima-san, would you like to take a bite? My favorite dish. Kawashima Rei was shocked and waved her hand. Wait, senior. The next second, Eishi Tsukasa handed the spoon to Rei Kawashima, making it impossible for her to refuse. Kawashima Rei took a bite. Wow, feeling the deep love of Senior Secretary C. These 4 kinds of tea for different styles. Use different kinds of ingredients. It's delicious and loving. Product 35 at this moment. Lin Fan picked up a dumpling and said with a smile, Kawashima can Try my crystal dumplings. It will definitely taste different. Kawashima Rei turned her head back in shock. But before she could react subconsciously, Lin Fan fed her a dumpling. Fresh green, tea-flavored dumpling skin after one bite. In Kawashima Rei's mind, she was instantly surrounded by green tea. Eat the dumplings so that it exudes the fragrance of green tea. This feeling, as if she returned to the fresh nature. Lin Fan once again let her taste another green tea-flavored dumpling. Rei Kawashima hurriedly eat. Bo, a moment, juste a moment. Unprepared, Kawashima Rei entered a state of bursting clothes. She seemed to be swimming in the ocean of tea and never wanted to come out of this wonderful world again. Eishi Tsukasa frowned slightly when he saw Rei Kawashima's intoxicated face. Then, I only heard, Kawashima Rei exclaimed. This dumpling is different from the minced meat made by Senior Secretary. 35 Eishi Tsukasa looked a little embarrassed after hearing this. Rei Kawashima continued. Yes, a whole new taste. 39. Even though I didn't taste a lot of ingredients before, which made my tongue tired, but after eating Senior C's cooking first, I tasted Lin Fan's. Let me feel a burst of freshness and no burden. Delicious. Just like this, stay in this fresh nature, never come out. Eishi Tsukasa was shocked. How is that possible? I did this by listening to the ingredients completely. Leave everything, no ego. At this time, Nakiri Senzaman said, Eishi Tsukasa is a little paranoid. You clearly know that the halberd has reached this stage, and you have to go your own way and try. It's not because of the combination of your ingredients. It's just aesthetic fatigue, visual fatigue, and taste fatigue of the judges. 5. And at this time, I just want to taste a simple dish. 95. In the 4 tea dishes, there are various cumbersome seasonings in the meat puree, as well as multiple combinations of ingredients. There is a brand new taste, but it also increases the burden on the judges' tongues and tastes. Sometimes it's good to listen to the ingredients, but shouldn't you think about the eater? After all, food is made for people to taste, isn't it? Eishi Tsukasa was like a bolt from the blue. Nakiri Senzaman got up and said neatly, the halberd eating competition this day was very exciting. Okay, now it's time to wrap up. Everyone, I vote for Lin Fan. Wow. At this time, the 2 judges next to him also got up. Without further ado, said, I also vote for Lin Fan. Another reviewer said, yes, I voted for Lin Fan too. Nakiri Senzaman said calmly. Okay, I announce that the winner of the final match is Lin Fan. Congratulations to this young freshman for breaking the Tsuki record and becoming the fastest Elite 10 chief in history. Wow, there was an uproar. Nakiri Senzaman looked at Lin Fan. The old man was also a little unbelievable. Lin Fan was able to crush all the way, directly hit 9, and defeated all the Tsuki Elite 10 so easily. A cheer. At this time, all the glory was concentrated on Lin Fan alone. The cheers and shouts of the students, and, sitting off the field, all the members of Polar Star Dorm. They were cheering from the bottom of their hearts. And Eishi Tsukasa, who thought it seemed like a dream, actually lost to a freshman. His long-standing philosophy has been disintegrated by a new student today. At this point, the judges began to withdraw. The students also left with cheers. Eishi Tsukasa had been standing there in a daze, not knowing what he was thinking. Lin Fan smiled and said, Senior, I accept your grinder. The students turned around in surprise to see Lin Fan talking to Eishi Tsukasa. Stop and watch. At this moment, Eishi Tsukasa was stunned and looked back at the grinder on the cooking table. I was unwilling, but had to obey. After struggling for a moment, he took a deep breath and said, Take it. 35 Lin Fan smiled calmly and passed by. Some students sighed. That's it? It's over. Eishi Tsukasa suddenly stopped Lin Fan and said, Newborn, I learned something useful from you today. 35 also made me understand something. The position of chief, you sit well. I hope you can sit firmly. 35, after all. A generation is stronger than a generation. Are you a good example? After the next fall qualifiers, more elite students will be selected. They're all staring at each other. 35, You have to sit firmly, but don't be pulled down after sitting for a few days. Lin Fan turned his back to Eishi Tsukasa, did not turn around, and smiled. You don't have to worry about it. Today I'm putting my words here. They can't surpass me. This sarcastic remark quickly caused an uproar. Chapter 117 Polar Star, Dorm new member Mito Yumei, 4/5 for subscription. Lin Fan and Eishi Tsukasa, just such a simple conversation, once again caused the dissatisfaction of many students. Just because Lin Fan always acts and speaks very arrogantly. Stealing the limelight of this group of rich second-generation people is still very embarrassing. Even so, the students dare not speak out. Many people took this anger into their hearts and spoke flattering words. After all, at this moment, Lin Fan has already topped the Totsuki chief. No one dares to mess with it. How many people are looking forward to who can stand out in the autumn qualifiers and then defeat this arrogant guy? In this way, everyone will completely release the anger that has been suppressed in their hearts for a long time. When I came out of the venue, it was already past 8 o'clock in the evening. Lin Fan stretched, and the whole day today was really calm. Even he himself, a bit like a dream, easily got the position of Chief Totsuki. Just a few steps out of the venue, the members of Polar Star Dorm also came out. Lin Fan just turned around. Bang! Yoshino Yuki fell headlong into Lin Fan's arms. The crowd was stunned. Lin Fan was stunned, not knowing what was going on. I saw Yoshino Yuki's brain 070 bag kept rubbing, and his voice was slightly choked. Lin Fan, everyone is worried today. You have eaten halberd several times. Obviously, you don't have to work so hard. Everyone almost thought you would be expelled from school, not only to expand the land for the Chinese Cuisine Research Association, but also to Polar Star Dorm. Wow. Yoshino Yuki was talking and suddenly began to cry like a child. Tadakuro Megumi on the side took a deep breath and patted Yoshino Yuki on the shoulder. Yoshino-san, it's all over. Saying that, Tadakuro Megumi looked at Lin Fan with a moved face. Lin, thank you so much for helping me so much. And Polar Star Dorm, 35. I believe that under your leadership, Polar Star Dorm will return to its former glory here in the future. 35. Mother Winshu must be very happy. Having said this, Tadakuro Megumi thought for a while and lowered his voice a little. Thank you so much. Because of you, I have regained my lost confidence and have been able to go all the way to this point. 5. In the next fall qualifiers, I will definitely stand out. 35 by the time. See you in the official fall game. Lin Fan nodded with a smile. Afterwards, Yoshino Yuki suddenly grabbed Lin Fan's arm and cried, I will meet Lin Fan in the official autumn tournament. My God, no. Lin Fan is hurt. Lin Fan patted Yoshino Yuki on the head. What are you thinking about in your head? Can you think of something serious, such as, what will happen if you are eliminated? 35? I was directly expelled from school. 39, wow. Yoshino Yuki broke down and pulled Tadakuro Megumi again, crying even harder. Lin Fan smiled. A group of people seemed to be watching a joke, laughing as they walked. At this time, Ishiki Satoshi stepped forward and stood shoulder to shoulder with Lin Fan. Student Lin, your meal today shocked me. 35. It also made me realize a lot of things. You are really strong. 35. Crystal Lin Fan smiled. Polar Star Dorm Lin Fan walked to the gate, but only went out for a whole day, and when he came back, it was like going out for a whole year. When I opened the door of the Polar Star Dorm, I heard a whimper at the same time. What's the matter? I just came back one step ahead of them. How can it be so slow? I'm going to see. Bang, hey. Who has such no eyes? The moment Lin Fan opened the door, another head was planted in his arms. It's Mito Yumei. Seeing her rubbing her head, she blushed instantly when she saw it was Lin Fan. He spoke hesitantly. That. Hey, why are you? Suddenly, he pretended to be calm and said, I'm going to starve to death. I just came back one step ahead of you. Why did it take so long? Mother Winshu prepared dinner early and is waiting for you to come back to celebrate. Lin Fan was stunned, looked at the mother-in-law Winshu behind Mito Yumei, and waved to him. Looking at Mito Yumei, he deliberately avoided Lin Fan's eyes. Lin Fan laughed. Why are you here? Mito Ikumi pouted. Yeah, why can't I be here? Even if I don't live in Polar Star Dorm, am I part of the Chinese Cuisine Society? Just leave me alone. According to what you said, then I will move to Polar Star Dorm tomorrow. Having said that, Mito Ikumi looked at Granny Winshu and said, Mother Winshu, did you know my cooking skills just now? I help you a lot by preparing dinner. 35, if I stay in Polar Star Dorm, will I pass the test? Granny Winshu was stunned and smiled awkwardly. Little Ro Mei's cooking skills are very good. It's definitely no problem staying in Polar Star Dorm. Mito Ikumi pouted. Mother Winshu, why are you calling this name? Granny Winshu smiled and greeted everyone to come and sit at the table. Lin Fan pretended to be disgusted and said, Hey, me Charm, are you really going to move to Polar Star Dorm? Mito Ikumi pouted. I said, don't call me this name. As promised, I'll squeeze in one night with Tiansua's classmates tonight and ask the housekeeper to pack up and send over tomorrow. Or, Mito Ikumi smiled meaningfully, if you think I disturb them, then donate the bed in your room and I'll disturb you. Lin Fan was stunned for a moment, then shook his head and said, Little girl, you really don't know that people's hearts are sinister. Mito Ikumi straightened his waist and said indifferently, and then he came over and said, Actually, I have a very important event in my stay at Polar Star Dorm. The fall qualifiers are coming soon. I haven't learned how to cut the bull and the blue dragon. Lin Fan pushed Mito Ikumi and refused. Don't worry, you still can't learn. Okay, don't try to catch my attention. Eat quickly. I'm hungry. Mito Ikumi is still pouting, muttering, That starts from tomorrow. Just take up your chief officer's time. Try the dishes for me and guide me. 35 in the autumn qualifiers, I will be like you, shocking all four. Then, Taste Lin Fan picked up a vegetable and stuffed it into Mito Ikumi's mouth. No, then, hurry up to eat. There's so much nonsense. Hurry up and eat. Poof! Tadakuro Megumi couldn't help but laugh. It seems that the Polar Star Dorm will be more lively in the future. There's a lively Yoshino classmate, and now there's another Mito classmate. Come on, everyone. Take advantage of the holiday time. We have to study the cooking well. Prepare for the fall qualifiers. Having said that, Tadako Megumi thought for a while and said to Lin Fan, By the way, Lin, I was wondering if we could visit Nakiri-san when we were studying cooking. Ask her to try it. Lin Fan seems to know her very well, but if it's too much trouble, forget it. When Mito Ikumi heard it, he became interested and said, Yes, if you try it with a Shiki senpai, there are still limitations. An extra arena would be the icing on the cake. Our Polar Star Dorm is sure to be invincible. After listening to Ashiki Satoshi, he squinted and smiled. That eldest lady is very proud, and it's expensive to invite her to try it out. The crowd was silent. Lin Fan thought for a while, then smiled. It doesn't seem like a big deal. I'll ask her tomorrow. Ishiki Satoshi laughed. If only she could come. As the chief of Elite 10, you have a lot to do with 0.0. You could just ask her after the meeting tomorrow. Lin Fan nodded. Afterwards, and when Shu saw that everyone was almost talking, with a look of excitement, he smiled. Lin Fan is a lucky star of Polar Star Dorm. After just one day's absence, he became the chief executive of Elite 10. Ho ho ho. I have lived for most of my life, and I didn't expect to witness a miracle happen. Polar Star Dorm, the golden age, witnessed Jicher's time. I didn't expect that after so many years, the students of the 92nd period will be very strong. But no matter how good your cooking skills are, Granny Wunshu's skills are the most special. Cooking full of love. The crowd applauded. The group started off with a nice dinner and then welcomed Mito Ikumi to the Polar Star Dorm on the side. The next morning, Lin Fan was still asleep, only to hear the door being pushed open with a bang. One here is the lovely dividing line. Chapter 118 Akiri Irina's Exchange Conditions. 5/5 for subscription. Lin Fan was still asleep when the door was pushed open. And then, before opening his eyes, he felt a figure sitting on the bed. Subconsciously, Lin Fan said helplessly, Yoshino Yuki, I've said it many times I have to knock on the door. 35 Lin Fan, who was still rubbing his eyes, heard Yoshino Yuki's aggrieved voice. It's not me. You can tell from the location where the voice came from. It was indeed not Yoshino Yuki, who was sitting on that bed. Opening his eyes, Lin Fan found that Mito Yumei was staring at him. What are you doing? Won't you knock on the door when you enter? If you don't learn good things, how can you get some of these bad faults? Mito Yumei replied indifferently. It's not a big deal. I woke you up. 35, in other words, it's to try the dishes to get you up. Didn't you also promise classmate Tinsua yesterday? Let Irina come to try the dishes today. Lin Fan looked bewildered. Then I have to wait until I come back from the meeting. 99 after listening to Mito Yumei. He smiled and said, Hey, then you go back early. We are waiting for you at Polar Star Dorm. Tsuki Council Office. This is Lin Fan's second time here, and it's not the same position as when he came back. He is now chief. The members of the council were calm. After this time, it was Shurji. They didn't have the previous disdain. Everything is normal. Eizan Zhijin also had a calm expression and handed the list to Lin Fan. Look at 08. This is the final list for the fall qualifiers. Because the teacher has selected a few more students after the decision was made last time, it will be resubmitted for review. And also, Lin Fan hurriedly interrupted. Wait, Sister Xiaolin, you seem to have forgotten that you made it very clear yesterday about the question of salutation. It shouldn't be you, it's master. Please, senpai, say it again. Eizan Zhijin was stunned. You? Lin Fan still said calmly. It's the master. You can't afford to lose, right? Who swore yesterday that he could win? Kobayashi Jinshin held the list in his hand. I looked at the other members and saw that they were expressionless, not ready to express any opinions. Not after all. So Xiaolin Rintan closed his eyes tightly and said, Lord. That's it. This list was discussed by the other members before the Lord. Master came. It needs the master, the person to look at it at the end, and submit it after confirming that it is correct. Lin Fan then took over the list and took a look. There are several newly added student resumes above. After looking at it, the results were all good, so I nodded. Okay, it's settled. 5. Is there anything else today? If not, let's break up. The other members nodded by default and didn't say anything more. In the office, everyone left, but Nakiri, Irina stayed. Although she didn't know what she was going to say, it just so happened that Lin Fan also wanted to try something from him. I saw Nakiri Irina speak first, saying that. Nakiri Irina's expression was slightly hesitant. It seemed that what she was going to say next made her very embarrassed. Seeing this, Lin Fan didn't say anything, waiting for her to speak first. As long as Nakiri Irina sees Lin Fan, she thinks of the amazing taste of Lin Fan's cuisine when she tastes it. Thinking of this, he looked embarrassed again. All in all, it looks awkward. Finally, after struggling for a moment, Irina finally spoke. That is, there are no classes in the afternoon, tomorrow, and the day after tomorrow, right? Just, can you try my new recipe? Nakiri Irina finally blurted out. After she said it, she felt much better. After all, she has always faced the world with a cold queen, and the heart is very proud. At first, during the entrance examination for freshmen, she was the invigilator. The original Irina never looked at Lin Fan's cooking. In the past, I didn't want to accept Lin Fan's cooking, but ever since she tasted it, she has been obsessed with it, in addition to yesterday's halberd. So, Nakiri Irina finally persuaded his heart. Gather up the courage to tell Lin Fan about this. Because the person who can directly become the chief of Elite 10 in one breath is already a very powerful chef at the moment. In addition to seeing Lin Fan's cooking skills, Nakiri Irina is even more determined and wants to let Lin Fan help her try it, so she can improve. Even in the autumn official game, it shocked the four. After a series of complex interactivities, Nakiri Irina looked at Lin Fan and was stunned when she saw that he didn't speak. What's the situation? Could it be that the other party did not agree? That would be a shame and lost home. However, Lin Fan said with a smile, just right. I also have something to ask you. 35, like yours, tried at Polar Star Dorm. When Nakiri Irina heard this, she frowned and said, Polar Star Dorm. Just go to your dormitory to try it? What's the difference between me inviting you to Nakiri's mansion? Could it be 35? You asked me to help try other students? 35. Nakiri Irina's words were clearly unpleasant. Lin Fan nodded and said yes. After all, the fall qualifiers, the members of Polar Star Dorm, also want to study the recipes. 35. I also feel that it's just me and Ishiki Senpai. It's a bit lonely if you can go too. Everyone knows it. After hearing this, Nakiri Irina suddenly turned her face and replied, "Don't go." Lin Fan was stunned. Nakiri Irina continued, "I don't want to go." Although it was fun to gather together during the training camp, but that's two different things. In Nakiri Irina's bones, that Sundara's energy came. Seeing her holding her hands, Sundara said, as the tongue of God, how many people in the industry line up and spend a lot of money to invite me to try it? 5. However, I'm going to try it out for a bunch of freshmen who haven't even entered the official competition. 99. The last time I was asked to invigilate and transfer the exam. This was outrageous. This time, I reject. Lin Fan took a deep breath. He didn't talk much, just made a no, and turned around to prepare to go out. Nakiri Irina held her hands and glanced at Lin Fan out of the corner of the eye, and found that he had already left. As soon as she got to the door, Irina shouted, "Hey, why did you just leave?" Lin Fan replied calmly, "Huh? The meeting is over. I'm ready to go back." Nakiri Irina said angrily, "Didn't you just say that you're going to try the dishes at home?" Lin Fan shook his head and said, "I said yes." "When did I say yes?" 39. I didn't agree. Plus VG. Anyway, I'm also the chief of Totsuki Elite 10 now, and after this half-term experience, my net worth is okay. You asked me to try the dishes. Do I have to go? As you put it, as the chief, I have endless official duties and trivial chores to deal with every day. If you want to help you try dishes, you must take time out of your busy schedule. It's not as easy as spending a lot of money lining up to try it. With that said, Lin Fan turned his head and prepared to leave. Nakiri Irina was stunned. As expected, Lin Fan is Lin Fan. It's really 1 in a million. No one has ever dared to negotiate with her like this. But seeing Lin Fan again, he walked away without looking back. So, Nakiri Irina shouted, 070. Hey, can't you add a nuisance when you asked me to try the dishes at Polar Star Dorm just now? This is the most basic, okay. Nakiri Irina finally found herself a suitable step. Lin Fan turned back and smiled. You invited me to try the dishes for you, and I invited you to try the dishes at Polar Star Dorm. 35. The two are equal. You will go if you promise me, and I will have nothing to lose if you don't promise me. Nakiri Irina sucked in a breath. Lin Fan is really touching her bottom line. But there is no way, as his Sako, who specializes in tasting dishes, is no longer attractive to Lin Fan. So, Nakiri Irina took a deep breath and replied, I promise to go to Polar Star Dorm to try the dishes. As a relative condition, you go to my house to try the dishes. Luo, after all, there are so many people in Polar Star Dorm. I need a quiet and comfortable environment to study recipes. Lin Fan thought for a while and was curious about his house, so he nodded. All right, I'll try the dishes for you today, and you'll go to Polar Star Dorm tomorrow. Nakiri Irina replied, When you say what you say, when has Miss Ben ever lied? 95. Lin Fan followed Irina and took her special car to Nakiri's mansion. Just stand outside and look, European-style buildings, huge gardens. The servants are cleaning the garden and the gardeners are pruning. All in all, everything is very luxurious. When they came to the hall, the maid saw Irina and said, Miss, you are back. Madam was looking for you just now. Do you want to come over now? Nakiri Irina shook her head and said, Go back to your mother first. Lin Fan is trying dishes for me at home, and I'm going to look for her when I'm done. In the room, Nakiri Mana learned from the servant's mouth that Lin Fan came to Nakiri's house and immediately became interested. Chapter 119 Taunt from Nakiri Mana, 1/5 for subscription. The maid told Nakiri Mana that Lin Fan had come to the house. This woman who had lost confidence in cooking on weekdays seemed to have a little hope in her eyes. Otherwise, this trip will come back in vain. With a slight smile on his face, Nakiri Mana asked, Are you sure? Did you see clearly? The maid nodded one after another. Yes, ma'am. I personally talked to the young lady, and the young lady said that the boy beside her was named Lin Fan. Nakiri Mana was originally made to rest on tatami. I saw her suddenly stand up and then smiled. You go down first. Don't bother Irina. If you see me at Irina's door in a while, you don't have to tell me. Just pretend you didn't see me. The maid nodded and left the room. Pushing the door open, the maid glanced at Nakiri Mana. This is the legendary eldest lady in Nakiri's house. It was only occasionally that I got a little bit of gossip about the size of a mosquito from the mouth of a servant. Only the elderly in the Nakiri house will know. The eldest lady of the Nakiri family ran away from home after giving birth to Irina. I don't know why I came back all of a sudden. Pink hair, phoenix eyes, looks a little haggard. The tone of voice just now made the maid somewhat confused. Swish, the door is closed. Nakiri Mana got up after the maid left. Lin Fan, the name has been flashing in her mind lately. This new student who made a big move in Tsuki recently has spread all over the food circle. Occasionally, videos of eating halberd can be found on the internet, which surprised Nakiri Mana. Another little surprise. After more than 10 years, the disappointing food industry finally has a shining star. I don't know if it's true or not, Nakiri Mana muttered, then walked out of the room. She came back this time, and she didn't want to cause too much unnecessary trouble. I just wanted to find Irina, but Lin Fan came. Nakiri Mana wants to see with his own eyes how capable the talented young man who has been talked about by people in the circle recently. Kitchen Nakiri Irina cooks up her new recipe as usual. Then put it on the cooking table and start explaining. This is what I thought of cooking by myself today. Using salt, pepper, eggs, and whipped cream, and adding turmeric at the end to separate out the American scrambled egg sauce, and then it's cooked rice, served with chopped calamari and sesame oil. Put them in the oven to make pancakes and chicken. This is the rough production process of parent-child rice bowls. Nakiri Irina explained the whole recipe and the production process in detail. I have to say that Irina also has a lot of skills in food innovation. Lin Fan took a bite of the cooked rice and chewed it carefully. Nakiri Irina with anticipation. I think there's something lacking in this dish. Lin Fan said. For Lin Fan's comments, Nakiri Irina was not angry, but listened attentively. When Lin Fan was about to speak, the sound of walking. The two turned back, and it was Nakiri Mana. Nakiri Irina's expression stiffened immediately upon seeing it. Incredible face. Although the mother, who had left her alone since she was a child, recently came back suddenly, there was a lot of trouble in the Nakiri house. But Sundara, the aloof Nakiri Irina, never wanted to see her mother. Unexpectedly, such a sudden appearance made Nakiri Irina a little surprised. Lin Fan looked at the thin, pink-haired woman in front of him. With a meaningful smile, he walked over slowly. And while walking, he said, "You are Lin Fan? He looks very handsome, and I heard that his cooking skills are also very good. Otherwise, he would not be the focus of the recent food circle. But, is your level like this?" These ironic words made Nakiri Irina next to Lin Fan stunned again. Looking at Nakiri Mana with a look of anger, Lin Fan was a little stunned, but seeing Irina's expression, he was a little hostile to this woman. Nakiri Mana continued, "Oh, did you forget to introduce? 9. Irina certainly won't tell you either. I'm Nakiri Mana, Irina's mother and WGO super executive. Like Irina, she has the tongue of God." Ha ha ha. Lin Fan was expressionless. Nakiri Mana continued to laugh. But it took a lot of work. I didn't expect to be a little disappointed after meeting Lin Fan, a transfer student who quickly caused a stir in Tsuki after entering the freshman year. 35. Subsequently, relying on his own strength, he became a blockbuster in Tsuki and defeated Tsuki Elite 10 in a short period of time and won the throne of Elite 10 Chief. It is said that even Shinomiya Kojiro was accidentally defeated by you, right? Having said this, Nakiri Mana thought for a while and then said, "Those mediocre chefs make mediocre dishes." And then getting good reviews from mediocre people and so on. But Lin Fan, you broke this rule. Before meeting you, I still had all kinds of expectations. I didn't expect it, and I was quite disappointed. Nakiri Irina grabbed in front of Lin Fan and said angrily, What the hell are you trying to say? Speak directly and clearly. Don't be so bewildering. Nakiri Mana glanced at Nakiri Arena and laughed. Let's not talk about your mediocre cooking. This Lin Fan, who is very popular in the food industry, can actually eat that dish you made. What's more exaggerated, he is still able to say that it's okay. Is this almost something? I can't imagine that this young man is nothing more than a mere appearance. It seems that the food circle is still mediocre as always, and the nutrient solution is my final destination. Nakiri Arena was shaking with anger. Lin Fan was also a little surprised. This is my mother. How can a mother say that about her daughter? This person is the eldest lady of the former Qinglong Sundara. The parent-child relationship is so bad. Moreover, the relationship between the mother and daughter is simply incompatible. Most importantly, Nakiri Mana is not only mocking Nakiri Arena, but even belittling Lin Fan. This is unbearable. Just as Nakiri Mana was about to turn around, Nakiri Arena was about to step forward to argue. But he was stopped by Lin Fan. Seeing Lin Fan walking in front of Nakiri Arena, he calmly said, "Wait a minute, I think you may have misunderstood my banality." 99 Nakiri Mana turned around and smiled meaningfully. "Oh, really? 99, can't you justify everything by being able to eat that kind of rubbish food?" Saying that, Nakiri Mana looked at Arena again, her eyes full of disdain and contempt. Nakiri Arena's body trembled even more with anger. Lin Fan patted her shoulder. Looking at Nakiri Mana, he smiled and said, "It seems that because I couldn't find a dish that suits your taste, I hung up the nutrient solution and didn't want to try it, right?" Nakiri Mana smiled. Lin Fan continued, "Ma'am, it's not right for you to not eat for such a long time." Nakiri Mana was taken aback. Lin Fan continued with a laugh. The coliform bacteria in the human gut specializes in digesting undigested food. 35. For a long time, like you only rely on nutrient solution to survive, the intestinal flora will not be able to survive. A large number of dead gut flora can have a very large damage to the digestive tract. How can you still taste the most delicious food in the world? Nakiri Mana was surprised. What nonsense are you talking about? Lin Fan continued. Long-term reliance on nutrient solutions can cause serious damage to the gut, and it can also degenerate the gut. Even if there is a superb dish in front of you now, I'm afraid you can't help it. 99, because of not eating for a long time, you will become more and more sensitive to those foods, and your taste will be biased. So, what have you been tasting all these years? Tasted of Zhao's loneliness. Ma'am, being picky eaters is not a good thing. 55 Lin Fan blurted out in one breath. Nakiri Arena was surprised and even wanted to laugh. Nakiri Mana is even more so, said by a teenager. Lin Fan disagreed and continued to laugh. Of course, for a patient like you, it's actually not difficult to resume eating and restore appetite. And I don't need any complicated cooking. I can cure this problem. 35. Indeed. What you said is quite right. Those chefs failed to prescribe the right medicine, which made your picky eater more and more serious. Another point, your daughter's cooking skills are not bad. Don't deny her, because of your personal bias. 35 Nakiri Arena looked at Lin Fan in surprise. He was actually speaking for her. Of course, Nakiri Mana in front of him was instantly PD off. It might even blow up. Nakiri Mana held back his temper and said calmly, "Young man, it's good to have small achievements and arrogance. I've been looking for the ultimate delicacy for more than 10 years, and it's so simple in your mouth. Then I really want to see it." Cross. This chapter contains pictures. Click the illustration button in the lower right corner of the screen to view the pictures. Chapter 1:2001 cannot be conquered by my cooking. 2/5 for subscription. Nakiri Mana spoke from the bottom of his heart, because she was convinced that Lin Fan was just a sorrel. If I hadn't seen him taste and commented on Nakiri Arena's cooking, I would have believed it. However, now, Nakiri Mana doesn't believe a word of what Lin Fan said that he wanted to see it, but he just blurted out. However, Lin Fan said calmly, "Ma'am, I'm still happy to help you solve your troubles in a special case like yours. 5, after all, food is what brings joy. And no one can question my cooking." 39. so let's just make the easiest appetizer. After talking for so long, isn't that the key? 39 Nakiri Irina was startled and quickly tugged at the corner of Lin Fan's shirt. Signal him not to act like that. Even Nakiri Irina hated her mother, even aside from her ability to have the tongue of God. As a super official of WGO, she has tasted the world's delicious food, and many top restaurants have not been able to escape her discerning taste buds. In doing so, Lin Fan is undoubtedly asking for trouble. Lin Fan is not the type to give up when he says something. Still looking at Nakiri Mana with a firm attitude. Seeing this, Nakiri Mana walked into the kitchen. Due to the long-term lack of food, Nakiri Mana's body was a little weak, so he sat down on the chair in the corner. Then he leaned his hand on the armrest, held his cheek, and said with a smile, "Young man, I'm still curious. When you say that, I really want to see what you call simple cooking. 99. How easy it is to conquer my taste buds." Lin Fan smiled and looked around. 070 swish, pull off Irina's waist directly and fasten it by herself. Nakiri Irina was stunned. Lin Fan smiled and said, "Sorry, I'm not familiar with your kitchen. Borrow it and return it to you in a while." 99 Nakiri Irina blushed suddenly. Nakiri Mana didn't say much, just sat there, watching silently. Lin Fan walked to the cooking table and got familiar with the kitchen utensils. Then went to the food area. A dazzling array of high-end ingredients. Tsuki is nothing compared to this. Lin Fan looked at vegetables and fruits. Nakiri Irina hurried up and said, "I'm going to ask the butler to prepare some fresh meat ingredients." Lin Fan stopped. No, that's enough. More than enough. I don't use any overly complicated ingredients." 99 Nakiri Irina was a little surprised, but still listened to Lin Fan. Glancing at Nakiri Mana, he stood on the side of the cooking table to observe. She was also curious about what kind of food Lin Fan would make. Take the red cabbage, green beans, pumpkin, pine nuts. Finally, Lin Fan took a look and found it was not nearly the same. Looking back at Nakiri Irina, he asked, "I need fresh longan. Do you have any? If not, then change to something else." Nakiri Irina nodded, ready to call. Nakiri Mana got up and smiled. "I'll go. Fresh longan, right? 35. I will tell you to use the best fresh longan, which must be of the highest quality. 35. That's the way to make your cooking even better, isn't it?" Hey. Nakiri Mana laughed ironically. When he turned to leave, he did not forget to add, "That's fine. After you finish cooking, you're looking for a reason, saying that the finished product is mediocre because of the ingredients." After speaking, he walked away. Lin Fan shook his head. Nakiri Irina looked at Nakiri Mana's back with a look of disgust. Not long after Nakiri Mana returned, the housekeeper ordered the maid to bring the prepared longan to the cooking table. When Lin Fan saw it, it turned out that all of them were superb. Pick it up and peel one, and the meat is thick, juicy, and full. Everything is ready to work. Lin Fan picked up the kitchen knife and put the washed melons and fruits on the cutting board. Dong, dong, dong. The blade touches the cutting board briskly. The sliced pumpkin quickly left the cutting board, drew an arc in the air, and then fell into the casserole aside. This is one of Lin Fan's most common chopping knife methods. Nakiri Irina is used to it. However, for the first time Nakiri Mana met, I was shocked. In the food industry for so many years, this is the first time I have seen such a fast and precise knife work. Lin Fan's knife is very fast, and while ensuring the speed, it can also cut the ingredients without any difference. This is a great test of the chef's knife skills. Nakiri Mana couldn't take his eyes off it. However, in Nakiri Irina's eyes, all this is normal. At this time, Irina instantly felt a sense of superiority. Instead, he looked at his mother with contempt and whispered, "It seems that it only comes out once a year, so I really missed a lot of the world." 35 Nakiri Mana didn't hear it and still looked at Lin Fan. At this time, Lin Fan accelerated the speed of cutting the ingredients. Dong, 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 whoosh, whoosh, it's getting faster and faster until you can only see a ghost. Nakiri Mana on the side was stunned. What you see on the video is two completely different styles from looking at it face to face at such a close distance. In an instant, she felt again Lin Fan is not an easy boy. If you can give Irina's cooking such a fair assessment, it's likely that she doesn't want to hit her. Thinking of this, the corners of Nakiri Mana's mouth rose slightly. In the blink of an eye, see Lin Fan getting all the ingredients ready. After the ingredients are all gathered, AAA, in a casserole, there is no other action. Only Jia, he brought the casserole to the stove. Fire, then wait. Seeing this, Nakiri Mana was stunned for a few seconds, then got up. With a questioning look on his face, he said, "That's it? Is this what you're talking about? The food that makes me hungry and amazed? I can believe it. You tell me now that this is just one of the steps in cooking." Lin Fan smiled calmly. "I said it's very simple. It won't be complicated." Nakiri Mana looked disappointed and a little annoyed. There is a moment of remorse for her being able to sit down, spend so much time, and watch such an outrageous cooking process. You must know that many top chefs in the industry have not been able to make dishes that conquer her taste buds. He would go to great lengths for a young boy. Nakiri Mana thought for a while, then smiled self-deprecatingly. Then he turned around and said, "It seems that the food world is still the same food world, and it has not changed from beginning to end." Nakiri Mana's move was to leave the kitchen. However, he was stopped by Lin Fan. "Wait a minute. Just looking at the production process, I directly rejected the whole dish. Is this the professionalism of a WGO special officer? Just seeing the appearance, doing things by feeling, it seems that the world's top food review agency is nothing more than that." Nakiri Mana stopped and turned around. "Young man, are you questioning my professionalism? With my qualifications and your simple and rough cooking process, you still need to taste it yourself? If the dishes I make are not what I expected, then I am so ashamed of the title of WGO Super Executive." 35 Lin Fan laughed. "However, it's the truth. I still hope you can sit down and wait patiently. Time will be the best answer." Nakiri Mana shook his head and returned to his chair, thinking that since everyone is sitting in this kitchen, it is not too short time. We must give him a chance to make Lin Fan give up completely. At that time, I can also talk about it in front of Nakiri Senzaman. It turns out that over the years, this is the most powerful year of Totsuki. Not so much. Nakiri Mana sat down and waited patiently. Over time, the food in the casserole will begin to boil and slowly release its aroma. It is a brand new assorted fragrance that appears after the ingredients are mixed with melons and fruits. Nakiri Mana, who was sitting on the side and was about to fall asleep, suddenly regained his senses. After smelling it carefully, the aroma of this multiple combination did not become one after mixing. But under this kind of aroma, longan, pumpkin, etc. can be distinguished separately. As time goes on, the fragrance becomes stronger and stronger. The whole kitchen is filled with the scent of this assorted melon and fruit. Even outside the kitchen, the passing servants lean towards the kitchen unconsciously, wanting to see what this irresistible aroma was made of. Nakiri Mana was a little surprised. The smell seemed to be different from what she had smelled before. Even the fragrance is not what she expected, but she still sat calmly. Half an hour later, ding, the kitchen timer went off. Nakiri Mana hurriedly straightened up, a little impatient. It has been a long time, and there is no dish. Just smelling the aroma makes her a little emotional. Nakiri Mana can't even remember when was the last time she ate what she thought was the delicacy of the world. "Turn off the fire." Lin Fan took the casserole down. Nakiri Mana couldn't help but get up and strode to the cooking table. Lin Fan, wearing heat-insulating gloves, smiled and said, "Ma'am, the next moment is to witness the miracle." Chapter 121, Glowing Rainbow Porridge. It's too delicious to stop. 3/5 for subscription. Next, it's time to witness the miracle. 39. Lin Fan said, put his hand on the lid of the casserole, and opened it instantly. While a moment, in the casserole, the bursts of water vapor, as if ready to go, burst out instantly. However, at this very moment, Nakiri Arena saw a familiar picture. From the fog, streaks of golden light pierced, instantly blurring Nakiri Mana's vision. The light passed through the door and window of the kitchen and surprised the servants who were secretly watching outside. This boy's cooking actually shines? Those who can be invited by the eldest lady to the house to taste cooking are either rich or expensive, or their cooking skills are amazing. The first time I saw it, there was even a dish that glowed, and it was ridiculously fragrant. Yeah, didn't you see Madam's expression? Everyone was stunned. Nakiri Mana is amazing. What is this? Light? Cooking really shines? Nakiri Mana almost exclaimed. The golden light on her face made it impossible for her to open her eyes. He blocked the golden light with his hand and even wanted to see it in front of his fingers. What the hell was going on? Nakiri Mana was speechless for a second, because in the golden light and the mist, there are still bursts of fragrance that hook her taste buds. For the past 10 years, she has been searching for the most beautiful cuisine on earth. However, the disappointment again and again made her completely disgusted with food. Also, if you are hungry, don't take a bite. However, Lin Fan's dish actually made her dead heart come back to life again. The dying little deer in my heart started to scramble again. She couldn't remember when was the last time she felt this way. Do not. It should be that there has never been such a dish before. It can make her emotional like this before tasting it. Nakiri Mana looked at Lin Fan in surprise, and Nakiri Arena on the side, although also surprised. But it's not uncommon for Lin Fan to make amazing dishes. Plus, it's not the first time I've seen luminous cuisine. Seeing the expression on his mother Nakiri Mana's face, he felt a little proud. Nakiri Mana instantly put down his arrogant attitude and asked hurriedly, "What is this dish called?" While asking, he tried to see the food in the pot clearly through his fingers. Lin Fan laughed. "Rainbow porridge with multiple functions." Mother and daughter Nakiri said in unison, "Rainbow porridge?" Subsequently, the golden light gradually weakened, and the water vapor gradually disappeared. At this time, the food in the casserole appeared. A pot of fragrant casserole porridge turned out to be colorful. Casserole porridge does not mix all the ingredients because of one pot stew. Instead, each ingredient is like another ingredient, as if it had been agreed in advance, and they made a dividing line. In this regard, each ingredient is completely separated. Red, green, yellow, white. It's so colorful. At this time, Lin Fan picked up a spoon and put this pot of rainbow porridge into the bowl. However, what is even more amazing is that what the porridge looks like in the pot is still the same when it is put into a bowl. No color was mixed in at all. To Nakiri Mana and to Nakiri Irina, the mother and daughter took the casserole porridge in their hands and swallowed subconsciously. Lin Fan laughed. "Ma'am, this is what I call simple and appetizing rainbow porridge. 35. I promise that as long as you eat it, you won't have any problems with picky eaters." Nakiri Mana was dubious, but the rainbow porridge in the bowl seemed to have a magic power that was holding back her taste buds. Gently scoop up a small spoonful. The fresh and elegant aroma came more and more. How can it be so magical? But your technique is quite powerful. 35. I didn't even notice that when the ingredients were available, they were divided one by one. It can be seen that the skills are profound, more like those who have practiced and have profound skills. However, it's always just an ordinary pot of porridge. Nakiri Mana just said so casually. Subconsciously, eat the porridge. Kakaka. Wow, the moment of entrance. Just the moment the tip of the tongue touches the hot porridge. Nakiri Mana's taste buds are instantly opened. The smell of red cabbage made her dusty appetite, and the door was pushed open in an instant. Suddenly, Nakiri Mana felt a cool breeze in front of him. This feeling is like the summer sea breeze, fresh on my face, and my body is relaxed without any burden. It floats so lightly. Nakiri Mana sighed and took a bite. Wow, it's mung bean. The taste of this mung bean seems to make my flying body find a balance. It seems that this bowl of porridge has magic and can't stop at all. She took her third bite. It's pumpkin. There's also the taste of pine cones. The white porridge has a taste. It is pine cones, which can make the whole internal organs feel the warm pine cones. 5. Nakiri Mana's emotion surprised the servants outside. You must know that the eldest lady in the legend has a very picky mouth. Also, don't eat nutrient solution and don't eat a mouthful of ordinary food. 39. This is just harsh to a certain level. However, she actually ate the boys' porridge one by one. And the key point is that she also gave a good review. In the voice of the servants, Nakiri Mana took the last spoonful. Kakaka. This taste. Nakiri Mana instantly. The taste buds have reached the extreme, exploding clothes in my own fantasy. This is a cordial greeting from fresh longan. The brown porridge is actually made from longan, and it is the best longan just served. After eating this porridge, I instantly felt my body become warm. After so many years, the nutrient solution has been hanging on, and the body has long been numb and cold. 35, but Lin Fan's bowl of rainbow porridge revived my dead body. Delicious, really delicious. Jingjing Nakiri Arena on the side was so shocked that she couldn't speak. Does this porridge really have such a miraculous effect? Nervous, took a deep breath, and slowly scooped up a spoon. After eating, Kakaka Nakiri Arena burst into clothes instantly. As soon as you enter it, the warm, multi-flavored and fresh porridge warms your heart. There is peace in the kitchen. All this was expected by Lin Fan. Lin Fan smiled calmly. Ma'am, as I said, this rainbow porridge will definitely cure your picky eater. 0. Ask for flour 00. Red beetroot not only stimulates appetite, but also removes toxins from your body. To know, relying on nutrient solution for a long time will produce a lot of negative toxins. 35. Green mung bean, which has a powerful interpretive effect, can further promote the balance of the body on the basis of red vegetables. Having said that, the servants who were eavesdropping outside quickly took out a pen and paper and recorded it silently. Lin Fan still smiled and said, "There is also a yellow pumpkin. For someone like you, who has not eaten for a long time, the body is very weak. The stomach and intestines are also very fragile. And if the food is not resumed properly at this time, it will of course produce a bad taste." 35. It's more than that the body can't handle it. The last is the white pine cone, which can nourish the internal organs at the same time as the first 3 functions. The last one is the longan, which has the effect of moisturizing the body. Years, anyway. Lin Fan looked at the surprised Nakiri Mana and smiled. For a body like yours. For now, this rainbow porridge is the best for you. 35. In this way, it can not only increase the appetite, but also nourish the body. Otherwise, what's the use of just having the tongue of God? Everything is tasteless. Lin Fan's remarks not only surprised Nakiri Mana, but also greatly admired Nakiri Arena. At this moment, Nakiri Mana, without saying a word, picked up the spoon and once again served a bowl of rainbow porridge. And eat it up. While eating, he said, "It's so fragrant, so delicious. This is a long-lost taste, which makes me suddenly have another desire to pursue food." Bowl after bowl. It can make a person who has been reluctant to eat for more than 10 years. Even at this moment, his appetite is widened. Can't stop looking at a pot of porridge. And this person is none other than Nakiri Mana, the highest executive officer of WGO with the tongue of God. After a while, the contented Nakiri Mana came back to his senses, thinking about his behavior just now, and was a little surprised. But, without thinking much, she immediately took out a business card and handed it to Lin Fan. "Young man, I still have a lot of aftertastes. I really want to taste your cooking. Because it's been so many years, I haven't tasted such delicious food. Here's my business card and my invitation. The annual The Blue competition, although it's still a little early, I invite you in advance." Lin Fan took the business card and put it on the cooking table. There is no so-called reply. Invitation letter? Not interested. It's just a casual dish, and you're so moved after eating it. 35. This is the level of the WGO's special officers? I also question the professional level of the Blue competition. 5. Nakiri Mana was taken aback. Nakiri Arena is even more. She wants to say something, but she doesn't want to say anything. Afterwards, Nakiri Mana thought about it. Suddenly caught off guard, he leaned over and said, "That, can you make a dish for me to taste? Your cooking seems to have magical powers. You can't stop once you taste it." At this time, before Lin Fan could speak, Nakiri Senzaman, who heard the news, walked in. 0. This chapter contains pictures. Click the illustration button in the lower right corner of the screen to view the pictures. Chapter 122 Invitation Letter for Totsuki Elite Chef Competition. 4/5 for subscription. Nikiri Senzaman rushed over after hearing the news. Still outside the kitchen, I can already smell the sultry aroma. However, when the kitchen was exposed to his vision, he saw his daughter and granddaughter and kept complimenting the cooking. Especially his daughter, Nikiri Mana. She has not been home for at least 10 years, and this daughter is too picky about food. After eating the dishes made by Lin Fan, my appetite is widened. This was something Nikiri Senzaman didn't expect. Walking into the kitchen, Nikiri Mana met Nikiri Senzaman and took a deep breath. There was a slight embarrassment on his face, but it was only fleeting. Grandpa, why are you here? Nikiri Arena whispered hello. Nikiri Senzaman did not speak, stepped forward and saw the business card in Lin Fan's hand. I roughly know one or two. Looking at the cooking table again, the casserole porridge that Nikiri Mana had devoured. Did not speak. After a while, Nikiri Senzaman said, "After all these years, I thought I had forgotten that there is still a home." Nikiri Mana did not speak. Afterwards, Nikiri Senzaman said to Lin Fan, "Since you are here today, I just told you 070, Totsuki's Elite Chef Contest." Surprised, Nikiri Arena couldn't help but ask, "Elite competition? Totsuki? 35. When has Totsuki ever had a match like this?" Nikiri Senzaman calmly replied, "Yes, not before. This year is the first." 39. The students who have graduated from Totsuki have spread all over the world and become excellent chefs. This competition is to select better chefs and send them to the blue competition. Totsuki has a spot, doesn't it? Nikiri Senzaman said, and turned his eyes to Nikiri Mana. Nikiri Mana smiled and said, "However, just now I have given such a precious place to Lin Fan." This guy actually said to think about it. Having said that, Nikiri Mana looked at Lin Fan and smiled. "Young man, do you know what this quota means?" The blue competition is the full name of the competition for the youngest chef in the world. All participating chefs are under 35. However, in the past, the blue would only invite outstanding chefs from the previous year's competitions around the world to participate. However, with the changes in the competition system in recent years, in addition to the 10 invited by the competition organizing committee, 10 outstanding chefs will also be selected from the 7 competition regions around the world. 39. In the winter every year in the designated city. Having said that, Nikiri Arena took a deep breath. Of course, she knew what the blue meant, and she envied Lin Fan. Nikiri Mana looked at Senzaman and continued. In recent years, Totsuki's international reputation is probably declining. It's been a few years that you haven't accepted an invitation, haven't you? This time, Totsuki can once again get the invitation, which is really thanks to this young man. If it weren't for his recent rise in Totsuki's reputation, it would be difficult for the organizing committee to pay attention to Totsuki's current reputation. Not to mention getting a spot. Nikiri Mana spoke meaningfully. It was only then that Lin Fan suddenly realized that the old man let himself crush the Elite 10 unscrupulously in Totsuki. It's nothing more than wanting to make some noise. This will allow Totsuki to get an invite. Next, using this quota as a reward, we will hold the Totsuki Elite Chef Competition. Excellent chefs are selected from among them, and they will take this spot and compete under the name of Totsuki. Let Totsuki regain the prestige of Zhijin in the world. Thinking of this, Lin Fan calmly asked, "So, senior, you just asked me to participate in the Totsuki Elite Chef Competition, and the final winner should be the invitation letter to the blue competition, right?" Nikiri Arena looked at Nikiri Senzaman with a shocked expression. Nikiri Senzaman took a deep breath and said nothing, just nodded. After listening to Nikiri Mana, he smiled and said, "So, Lin Fan, this is a rare opportunity. 35 foot. At this moment, you get the invitation directly, and you can skip those boring chef competitions. After all, 99. In the past 10 years, there is really no food that can whet my appetite. 35. You are so special. You shouldn't waste your time on games that don't make sense." 99. Having said that, Nakirimana thought about it again and continued. It is very valuable to put aside the number of invitations. The remaining places will be generated from the 7 regions, which is even more bloody. 35. I can tell you clearly, among the 7 regions, China, France, Asia, excluding China, Europe, excluding France, Oceania, America, Africa, you're going to earn a spot from these 7 regions. Of course, the country also has to select one of the elite chefs as a representative to challenge the Asian division. This is tougher than the Totsuki Elite Chef competition. 33. In front of you, there's a ticket for the through train. What are you still hesitating about? Nakiri Senzaman replied. You are hurting him, a new transfer student of Totsuki. Before this halberd, he had hardly any achievements in the food industry. What can convince people of his cooking skills? If Lin Fan is really that material, what is the difficulty for him in this elite chef competition? 35. If he wasn't that material, he'd be easily crushed on the blue. He is not only a student of Totsuki, but also a chef you recommended. And it is also you, a special official of the WGO, who is embarrassed. Nakiri Senzaman said seriously. Nakirimana seemed disapproving, laughing. My judgment can't be wrong. This young man, he will definitely shine at the blue competition. He doesn't need to waste time on boring games, because I want him to cook me some more dishes. Nakirimana suddenly changed his style and said in a playful tone. At this time, Nakiri Arena said calmly, I want to participate in the blue competition. Nakirimana was stunned for a moment, then smiled meaningfully. I think, in this competition, the most unnecessary person is you. If you want to participate, then I can withdraw the invitation letter just now and let Lin Fan win the Totsuki Elite Chef competition. Nakiri Arena was startled, and the angry onlooker Nakirimana. Don't worry, I will not disappoint you. No matter what means I use, I must obtain the qualifications. 35. After listening to Nakirimana, he covered his mouth and smiled. Oh, is it? Since you said so, then the invitation letter should be withdrawn. After speaking, Nakirimana turned to leave. Lin Fan suddenly said, Lady, I don't think your professionalism is high. 55. I don't like your invitation at all, but see you at the blue, although I don't think the game is that good. Nakirimana smiled and turned away. Nakiri Arena stood there, gnashing her teeth, furious. Nakiri Senzaman said calmly, Work hard. Lin Fan. 99. No matter who you two can get the spot in the end, it's Tsuki's pride. After saying that, Nakiri turned around and walked away. Lin Fan and Arena were left in the kitchen. When Nakiri Senzaman went out, the servants outside also scattered. The kitchen was quiet, and Arena stood silently. Lin Fan didn't know what she was thinking, but she probably knew that it was related to the blue competition. I will win. I will win. I will prove it to you. I must win. 99. Nakiri, Irina whispered. 0.0 Lin Fan patted her shoulder and said calmly, It's all right. Since you want to participate in the blue, the top priority is to deal with the current affairs. Lin Fan comforted, seeing that Nakiri Irina's mood still didn't improve. After thinking for a while, he said, It's not only this one. Isn't there a regional quota? It really doesn't work. I'll accompany you to the region and just get a spot. 35. What's so hard about this? Nakiri Arena was moved after hearing this. Looking at Lin Fan, it took a long time to say with difficulty, Thank you. Afterwards, he pretended to be calm and said, But how? Do you know that I will lose to you? The Chef Elite competition is still not to be missed. Waiting for me at the Elite Chef competition, we can still compete. Lin Fan shrugged his shoulders and smiled. Let's see. Nakiri Arena heard Lin Fan's words and suddenly fell into his arms. I cried in pain. It seemed that the depression in his heart for a long time was released in an instant. Lin Fan patted her lightly. Chapter 123. The new Elite 10 members are in place. 5/5 for subscription. Lin Fan patted Nakiri Arena's head lightly, signaling her not to be sad. Unexpectedly, this move made the princess of Tsundere even more uncomfortable. Nakiri Arena grabbed the corner of Lin Fan's clothes and burst into tears. Lin Fan looked at the situation as if it was useless to say more. Just stop talking and just listen to her cry. A month later, almost every day, Nakiri Arena asked Lin Fan to help him try dishes. In this way, the relationship between the two seems to be more intimate than before. Nakiri Arena didn't give Lin Fan a face. The fall qualifiers are already on schedule. Nakiri Arena came to Lin Fan more and more frequently. Under the guidance of Lin Fan, she also made a great breakthrough in cooking. More importantly, Nakiri Arena is indeed a good helper for Lin Fan. However, ever since Nakiri Mana ate Lin Fan's rainbow porridge at Nakiri's house, his appetite has widened. In just a week, it spread throughout the Japanese food circle. It was first spread from the servants of the Nakiri family. Once the news came out, the whole Japanese food circle was shocked. When everyone can't believe it, this thing is true. Something happened that shocked the teachers and students of the whole school. Someday Lin Fan is looking at the roster at the council office about the official roster of the fall season. Also, among these people in the 2008 official game, there will be a few who will fill the Elite 10 position. And just then, under the building, I heard a group of students chatting. It turned out to be Nakiri Mana. Since the last time I ate Lin Fan's food, this lady has been thinking about it. I went to Polar Star dorm every 3 or 5 minutes and wanted Lin Fan to cook for him. Of course, it was also rejected by Lin Fan. However, on this very day, Nakiri Mana came directly to Totsuki. This made the previous doubts all disintegrated in an instant. Nakiri Mana came to Totsuki and let Lin Fan cook for her, even at the expense of a lot of money. This made the students envious. You know, this is the WGO super executive. Suddenly, airborne Totsuki looked for Lin Fan, and it was to eat his cooking. What's worse, the only super executive, after the only time he ate Lin Fan's cuisine, his appetite was widened. Although the taste is still very tricky, at least it does not rely on nutrient solution to continue its life. This made Totsuki's students re-examine Lin Fan once again. The freshmen they once despised the transfer student. This chief Totsuki, who is not convinced at the moment, his strength is not ordinary. After coming from Nakiri Mana, no one talked about Lin Fan in private or was unconvinced behind his back. Wherever Lin Fan went, there must be a burst of envy in his eyes. One day Lin Fan is still working on documents in the office, and this time, he was dealing with the list of winners of the official fall season. Then it's time to start processing the application list for the Elite Chef competition. I have to sigh, time flies so fast. Lin Fan flipped through it in his hand, and the first place in the autumn competition turned out to be Qinglong. The second is Yukihira SMA. Lin Fan always thought that Yukihira SMA would get the first place directly, but he never thought about it. Maybe it was hasty. Take a look at the new Elite 10 roster filling in hand. The first seat is still Lin Fan, and the second seat, Kobayashi Rintan. The third seat, Akane Kubo Momo. The fourth seat, Ishiki Satoshi. The fifth seat, Jio Aijiaoji. The sixth seat, Yishan Liang. The seventh seat, Yukihira SMA. The eighth seat, Kurikiba Ryo. Ninth seat, Nakiri Arena. 10th seat, Tadakoro Megumi. The new Elite 10 roster, Lin Fan held in his hand. One after another, members began to come in. Very familiar new and old faces. Tadakoro Megumi was the first to run over excitedly. Student Lin, I've been very busy since you became the chief, and I haven't seen you for a while. 35, mother-in-law Wenxiu has spoken. If she doesn't go back for dinner, he won't give you the Polar Star dorm. Tadakoro Megumi said jokingly. Lin Fan smiled and said, "Okay, today's business is done. I'll go back in a while." Nakiri Arena came in and just communicated with Lin Fan with her eyes. In front of people, she is still the arrogant queen. Yukihira SMA sat down, looked at Lin Fan, and gave a look of admiration. Kuga Teruki and Akane Kubo Momo also sat down one after another, but they didn't show any expressions. Ishiki Satoshi still the same gentle smile. With a smile, he said, Lin Fan is really becoming more and more like a chief officer. Lin Fan smiled, but turned to look at Xiaolin Jinshin next to him. Sister Xiaolin, as usual, should you call me master when you come in? 35 saying that. He looked at Akakubo Momo again, still smiling. And Xiao Momozi senpai too. Everyone was stunned. Nakiri Arena didn't speak and didn't show any expression. For Lin Fan, he has long been used to it. Kobayashi Rensho was nothing before, but he looked at Lin Fan with a look of surprise because he had trusted members today. You're almost there, Lin Fan said with a smile. Be honest. Xiaolin Jinshin gritted his teeth. Yes, master. Akakubo Tao looked innocent. Master, can this title be ended early? Lin Fan still smiled and said, No way, isn't this what you guys lost to me before? Lifetime. The two took a deep breath and stood out. Lin Fan's joke was a joke, and after seeing everyone sitting down, he immediately put away his smile and looked serious. Okay, since everyone is here, let's get to the point. This is the list I just sorted out for next month's Elite Chef competition. This time, they're not only elite students selected from Totsuki, but also elite chefs who have graduated from Totsuki. 35. Their purpose is simple, to qualify for the blue. After all, it's easier to get an invitation directly from Totsuki than to go to the Asian region to fight. There is one more thing I need to tell you. I also received news this morning. The chefs at the blue competition are under 35. But that doesn't mean that the Totsuki Elite Chef competition is only for young chefs. Of course, there are a lot of 3-star chefs in this batch of young chefs, but in the Elite Chef competition, there are also great chefs like Dojima Jin, Guan Shuping, Shiomi Jun, and Inui Hinako. 99. While all of a sudden, the other Elite 10 members looked surprised. Yukihira SMA was the first to speak. Senior Dojima Jin? 35. Don't you mean young chefs under 35? Tadakuro Megumi shivered and said, There is also Kansu's senpai. No, he shouldn't be a graduate of Totsuki. However, Higako senpai, Dojima Jin senpai, all are great gods. How can this compare? 35 Lin Fan said calmly. I've already said it very clearly. All the elite graduates of Totsuki, of course, want people like Guan Shuping senpai and Dojima Jin senpai to make a cameo appearance. 35. If you can't even compare to them, then you have no right to stand on Theblu's stage. There's only one place. Everyone, work hard. After finishing speaking, Lin Fan distributed the list to the members. Lin Fan continued. This competition will be divided into 3 groups: the Totsuki Student Group, the 070 Elite Graduate Group, and the Cameo Elite Group. 5. The top 3 of the Student Group and the Graduate Group are eligible to enter the finals and compete with the Guest Elite Group. The Totsuki Student Group is divided into Group A and Group B. Besides Elite 10, there are 2 other students, Shoko Kasuki and Toshi Shiratsu. With these 2 as Group AB and the remaining Elite 10, we will use the fairest method to draw lots to decide which group to go to. After finishing speaking, Lin Fan took out the prepared sign. The other members are drawn from it in turn. Then everyone will sign up. Group A, Shoko Kasagaji, Lin Fan, Teruki Kuga, Ryo Hayama, Yukihira SMA, Ryo Kurikiba. Group B, Toshio Shiratsu, Rintan Kobayashi, Momo Akubo, Ishiki Satoshi, Nakiri Irina, Tadakuro Megumi. Everyone looked at the group they were assigned to. Tadakuro Megumi took a deep breath and glanced at Lin Fan quietly. Fortunately not with him. After a long time, Teruki suddenly became excited. Ha! I didn't expect that we could compete against each other again, Lin Fan. Lin Fan ignored him. Yi Shanliang also expressed that there was no pressure and said calmly, The chief has come all the way, and his strength is so strong that everyone is afraid. But the lottery is also destined. I'm destined to fight with you to see who is stronger. Lin Fan calmly smiled and said, The champion of the autumn competition is different? Let's wait and see. Kurikiba Ryo looked at him, but he still didn't speak, and he didn't know what to do. Afterwards, after a group of people spoke roughly, the meeting ended. Lin Fan never felt any pressure from beginning to end. He will take this opportunity and be a complete blockbuster. A month later, the long-awaited Totsuki Elite Chef competition has begun. Chapter 124, North Star Sky Wolfblade, comes out 1/5 for subscription. Totsuki first Elite Chef competition the morning of the competition. Lin Fan got up early, ate breakfast blessed by Granny Wenshu, and went to the venue with Tadakuro Megumi, Yukihira SMA, and his party. The venue is between the moon and sky of Totsuki, and it has always been the venue for the Totsuki Elite 10 to eat halberds. There are pictures of Elite 10s of all generations hanging in the venue, which is a hall of fame. Lin Fan is very in turn with this venue. A long time ago, it was here that the former Elite 10s were beaten down one by one. Between moon and sky in the venue, it was already crowded with people. And this game in Totsuki, half a month ago, has become one of the hottest topics in the circle. In the venue, there are not only Totsuki students, but also experts in the food industry. There are also the most authoritative media reporters in the food circle. The media came early to grab the spot, just to be able to broadcast the news as soon as possible. The heat is no less than at this time, and there are competitions in various major regions around the world. Started the game in a burst of warm cheers. A familiar face, Rei Kawashima, came on stage. Seeing Rei Kawashima excitedly stepped onto the stage. Everyone, meet again. The last time we met was in the autumn game. I didn't expect it to be so long. Although halfway through, there are also large and small halberds one after another. However, with a tournament of this scale, I'm afraid this will be the last Totsuki this year. Oh no. And next semester, before the end of the fall, the annual carnival. Moon Festival. Pull far away, far away. The compass is true. There are a lot of new faces on the field today, not only the industry leaders. There are authoritative media in the industry to follow up and report. I'm so excited to have this opportunity in my academic career. Kawashima Rei couldn't control her excitement and said a lot of nonsense. After a while, she finally calmed down and began to introduce members of team. Next, let's invite the Totsuki students of today's classic to appear in Group A. Wow, a round of applause. But the moment Lin Fan showed his face, the court began to scream. He is Lin Fan, breaking Totsuki's record. And as a freshman with the fastest speed, he can directly become the top student of Elite 10. Not only that, but Totsuki was able to get another invitation from the Blue this time because of this Lin Fan. Yes, long before Lin Fan, Totsuki hadn't had an elite student for a long time. Yes, many people in the industry are rumored that the brilliant Totsuki of Zhijin is gone forever. But this year, there is another Lin Fan. Not only Lin Fan, but it is said that this year's 92nd freshman is very strong. I'm a little excited. I knew this Lin Fan a little earlier, and his cooking skills are amazing. I don't know if he will continue to maintain a 100% win rate. The media off the field kept discussing with their own cameras. In short, a boil. However, Rei Kawashima continued. Everyone, please be quiet. Before starting the game, I still want to talk about the competition system in general. There are 6 people in this competition area, and the 6 people in this game will cook for an hour according to a theme. Then the judges will rate the cooking of these 6 students. The one with the lowest score in the first round will be eliminated directly. 3 rounds of elimination rounds will be held in sequence, and the top 3 in Group A will enter the final 6 rounds of the Totsuki student group. Okay, so now I'm going to announce the cooking theme of the show. Seeing Kawashima Rei open the card, and then said in surprise, the theme of this field is fish. Speaking of which, Kawashima Rei looked back at Lin Fan and smiled. I'm sorry everyone, I can't help but say it aggression here. History is always strikingly similar. 99. I still have a fresh memory. Zhijin Lin Fan also used the theme of fish when he was eating halberd. I believe that all of Totsuki's classmates should be very clear. In that halberd eating showdown, Lin Fan showed us what an amazing swordsmanship is. Every time I think of that scene, Lin Fan's shocking scene when he used the breaking army to cut open, just thinking about it makes me very excited. I'm looking forward to Lin Fan today, who will bring us a shocking cooking. After speaking, Kawashima Rei looked at Lin Fan. Lin Fan said with a smile. Yes, today's cooking will be even more exciting than before. Lin Fan said confidently. However, Yishan Liang, who was standing beside him, was obviously a little unconvinced. No one else spoke. Afterwards, Rei Kawashima said excitedly, I announced that this knockout match will start in 1 hour. Boom, a warning sounded. Afterwards, the 6 students in Group A went to the ingredients area respectively. At this time, the other side of the knockout match between Yuetian and Tian was also nervously going on. Lin Fan took a deep breath and walked silently to the ingredients area. Of the other 5 faces in this group, for Lin Fan didn't even speak, only with Kurikiba Ryo, had a relationship during the training camp. This Hayama Ryo and Lin Fan didn't meet until after the autumn game. I heard that it was a student who was brought out by Jun Shiojian, and he was also born with arrogant attributes. So when Lin Fan saw him, although he didn't show his dissatisfaction directly, he could tell by looking at him that he was not convinced. Since you are not convinced, then take this opportunity to let Yishan Liang know what it means to be sinister. Convince him directly. Lin Fan is in the ingredients area, firstly choosing and matching seasonings slowly. Then came the live area and picked one of the largest snapper. The focus of the audience was all on Lin Fan. His every move moved people's hearts. After seeing the final ingredients, Kawashima, Rei leaned over and asked student Lin, the snapper I picked today is really big. Excuse me, do you want to use it to make a variety of ingredients? Will you still show us the Pajun Sun cut or the 7 stars instant broken sword dance? Lin Fan walked to the cooking table, looked at her and smiled. I think it's outdated. On such a stage, we must be more serious. Wow. As soon as these words came out, the media's cameras were all aimed at Lin Fan. Click, click, the flash kept shooting, for fear that in the blink of an eye, you will miss the breaking news that was first reported. Kawashima Rei was even more surprised. Since hosting Lin Fan's halberd, she is already familiar with Lin Fan's ways. So he was pleasantly surprised. Grave accent, I believe in classmate Lin. After all, you never do anything that doesn't take me, right? So, the audience and I are looking forward to your next performance. Kawashima, Lee had just finished speaking. Lin Fan turned around and walked to his kitchen utensils box. The students who knew, some held their breath, some began to exclaim, Quick, look! Lin Fan is going to open his kitchen utensils box again. The law won't change. Every time Lin Fan wants some amazing kitchen utensils, it must be taken from that kitchen utensils box. Really? I'm not a Tsuki student. Don't lie to me. I will never lie to you. I have watched every halberd of Lin Fan, and when this box is opened, it will definitely shock all 4, no? You can wait and see. I'm looking forward to it. What kitchen utensils will he bring out? Quick, the lens is aligned, the focus is adjusted. At this moment, everyone's eyes were on Lin Fan. No one paid attention. The remaining 5 students were cooking. This kind of feeling can only be experienced by me after having eaten halberds with Lin Fan for a long time. He was already prepared of Zhao's, so his mentality was more stable than usual. At this time, Lin Fan took out a kitchen knife with a scabbard from a box. Everyone stared at the knife on the screen carefully. Kawashima Rei explained, Hey, in terms of appearance, this knife is no different from an ordinary kitchen knife. To be exact, it should be a little longer. Is he also one of the 7-star knives? What is the function? Is it also for fish? Kawashima Rei asked 3 times in one breath and expressed the audience's doubts. Lin Fan took the kitchen knife and closed the box. Silently walked to the cooking table, calmly said, This knife is called Beichen Tianlang blade. 35, the audience exclaimed. Kawashima Rei also hurriedly asked, Beichen Heavenly Wolf Blade? This name is so cool. Then this knife will be sharper than the 7-star knife. And will it be fresher when dealing with sea bream? 5. Speaking of freshness, you have a Garuda sword, so what is this Beichen Heavenly Wolf Blade? Kawashima didn't finish talking. I saw Lin Fan neatly pulled out the knife. Wow. At the moment when Beichen Tianlong's blade was unsheathed, he forked. Chapter 125 Arhut Crystal / Too Strong. 2/5 for subscription. The moment when Beichun Tianlong's blade was unsheathed. Kakaka, a faint blue light, was emitted the moment the blade was pulled out. The entire venue was covered by a dazzling light blue light. The crowd exclaimed, "Light! Beichun Tianlong's blade will actually glow when it is unsheathed." This is the first time I have seen such a magical kitchen utensil. 35. It turns out to be true. I've seen it on the video, and the dishes that emit light and the kitchen utensils that emit light are not special effects. My God, this scene is really shocking. The faint blue light of the Beichun Heavenly Wolf blade actually illuminated the entire venue. Isn't this really adding some special effects to the blade? It's amazing. For the first time, I watched it for the first time, and now I understand why those students are so excited when they talk about Lin Fan's kitchen utensils. There was amazement off the field. The flash didn't stop. The camera was all aimed at Lin Fan, and he didn't dare to move away for a moment. The reporters even dared not even blink their eyes for fear of missing out. And the other students on the side, especially Hiyama, it was the first time I saw Lin Fan's kitchen utensils up close, and it was so shocking. He began to question himself, whether it was a mistake to question Lin Fan. Such kitchen utensils may have to overcome the heroes. Then, in a burst of exclamations, Lin Fan took the Beichun Heavenly Wolf blade and started preparations. At this time, the Beichun Heavenly Wolf blade, under the spotlight, refracted the light like a diamond. Under the faint blue light of the Beichun Heavenly Wolf blade, it will also make people unconsciously feel a chill. 070 Everyone is guessing how Lin Fan's reasoning will be dealt with when he arrives. I saw Lin Fan's next move was neat and tidy. Raised arm, quick stroke. Whoosh, a piece of fish was cut off instantly and flew into the air quickly. Wow, there was an uproar. The shutter sound is more frequent. Whizzing, it was 2 more cuts, and the fish fillet flew into the sky again. However, the fillet did not fall into the plate after making a perfect parabola in the air as before. Rather, it just floated in the air. The fillets are like snowflakes. Afterwards, Lin Fan said lightly, "Arhut crystal slash." Everyone on the field was instantly fried. What? What did Lin Fan say just now? I didn't hear much. It looks like it's called a slash or something. Is this the sword technique he created with this Beichun Heavenly Wolf blade? Today's food competition is worth it. I have never heard of it in my life. I have encountered everything I have never seen before. This experience can last a lifetime. Kawashima Rei lived up to expectations, resisting the light from the blade, and wanted to walk over to ask clearly. However, the moment after Lin Fan's voice fell, after previously cutting the fish skin, the blade quickly melted directly from the fish. The sliced fish, as thin as paper, still fluttered in the air. These thin slices of fish are so thin that the light can pass right through the slices of meat and hit the ground. And each slice of fish is crystal clear. At this time, the recent Kawashima Rei found clues. Oh my God, look at this fish fillet like a mirror. It will reflect light. 5. Afterwards, Kawashima Rei strode forward and looked up into the air. The pieces of fish that danced like snowflakes. Each piece was like a mirror, completely taking a picture of Rei Kawashima's face. The most exaggerated is the fish fillet in the air, which refracts the light to the surrounding. At this time, the stage was so colorful that everyone didn't even dare to blink. Piece by piece, the fish slices cut from the Beichun Heavenly Wolf blade in Lin Fan's hand flew in the air. They seemed to understand Lin Fan's words. The fillets will just keep floating like this when not instructed to do so. With the last fillet cut off, the whole snapper sliced into pieces, all flying in the air. The crowd looked up and sighed and questioned. It's so beautiful. It's not like a food competition. It's more like magic. 5. The fish fillets are flying in the air. Is this a visual effect or something else? That knife, why does it reflect light like a mirror after cutting off the fish fillet? Such a thin fish fillet is still so fast that you can only see double images. This is not something ordinary people can do. Just in the sigh of the crowd. Kakaka, in the sound of the microphone, there was a cracking sound before it was broken. Then, bang, bang, bang. I saw that the Beichun Heavenly Wolf blade in Lin Fan's hand shattered immediately after a crack appeared. A particularly clear and pleasant shattering sound. The sound of the crack, just now, came from the Beichun Heavenly Wolf blade. I saw the blade of the knife shattered into pieces in an instant, and the pieces that shone like diamonds were piled up on the plate like icebergs. Not waiting for the audience to be surprised, the fish fillets flying in the air seemed as if time had stopped for a moment. After a half-second pause, whoa, pieces of pieces fell on the iceberg formed by the Beichun Heavenly Wolf blade. A piece of extremely fresh fish paste is ready. Lin Fan laughed. I have finished cooking. Fresh iced sea bream. Please try it. The judges on the jury stand up from their chairs in an instant. This is done? The opening is only half an hour. Indeed, it doesn't take much time to make a sashimi dish. However, isn't it amazing how it's handled? It's the first time I've seen it. 35 the judges were in disbelief. In Kawashima, Ray hurriedly walked over. Subconsciously, he looked at Lin Fan's hand, which showed signs of frostbite. Only then did he say in surprise, "This Beichun Heavenly Wolf blade is actually a skating blade made of ice?" Once again, the field was boiling. Skate? Use an ice knife to cut fish? How sharp does this have to be? No wonder the fish fillets reflect like a mirror, because they are frozen by the icy breath of the ice blade. 35? I swear, I've never seen kitchen utensils like this, and I've never seen such a way of handling ingredients. First time, it's amazing. What's the thought? Why would you use ice skates for fish? The audience was puzzled while discussing. Kawashima Ray is very keen, leaned over and asked, "Student Lin, your hand is already injured. This Beichun Heavenly Wolf blade, in just this short period of time, actually frostbite your hand like this." I have doubts, and the audience has doubts. Why use ice skates to handle fish? What's the difference? This is the second time I've seen you cook sashimi. The same dish, but completely different in practice. Why? Facing the doubts of Kawashima Ray and everyone present, Lin Fan was not in a hurry to bring the dishes to the jury. Instead, he patiently said, "This is indeed the more than one time I have made sashimi. But the way I used to do it was just for fun. And today's Bing Xian Tai Shan is my true strength." Everyone took a deep breath after hearing this. Teruki Kuga, who was processing the ingredients on the stage, and Yukihira SMA had to be surprised. Lin Fan even said that the sashimi he made before was just for fun. Can you easily beat the Elite 10 by playing casually? Looking at Li Bing Fresh Taishan, it is indeed confirmed that Lin Fan's so-called play is indeed play. The other members of Group A gasped. Yishan Liang realized at this time what a formidable opponent he was facing. At this time, Lin Fan picked up his Bing Xian Shan and slowly walked toward the jury. As he walked, he said, "This Beichun Heavenly Wolf blade is a one-time use. The ice that makes this blade is not ordinary ice, but a very special piece of ice in the north. After professional forging, this one is made, which can surpass the sharp edge of all metal kitchen knives. And the fish treated with this knife can fully retain the deliciousness of the fish. This kind of delicacy, only those who really taste it can realize the true meaning of raw fish fillet. So, I also call this dish a dish that can realize the true meaning of sashimi." As soon as the voice fell, this plate of Lai Bing Xian Taishan was placed on the jury's seat. Several of the judges leaned forward and scrutinized the plate of sashimi. Pieces of fish cover the iceberg. A light blue, graceful light shines through the fillet. The judges were lingering and reluctant to use their chopsticks to taste. One judge couldn't help but sigh. "It's so beautiful. It's simply a work of art. I can't bear to use chopsticks at all, for fear of destroying its beauty." Then, another judge couldn't wait and picked up the chopsticks. Tear a piece of fish from the iceberg. Chapter 126.1 Lai Bing Xian Taishan. Continue to maintain the winning rate, 3/5 for subscription. The judges tore off a piece of fish. You can clearly feel the change of the fish fillet on the chopsticks. I haven't tasted it yet, but I already feel that the fish is fresher than ever before. It's not that I'm exaggerating, it's because I feel the nerves of the fish are shaking. The judge said in surprise. Can't wait to dip the fish fillet into the seasoning and eat it. Kakaka, just a moment, the feeling after the entrance. Like fresh live fish, it was instantly frozen on the iceberg. After a mouthful, the seal was instantly unsealed, and every cell and nerve on the sliced meat was clearly felt in vain. I don't seem to be eating fish fillets, but a live fish. I can actually feel the nerves of the fish beating. Oh my God, the sashimi that I usually eat, even if it's just slaughtered, doesn't have a taste like this, and every cell is so fresh. This Lin Fan is amazing. Would you believe me if I said this is the freshest fish fillet I've ever eaten? I instantly felt that what I ate before was nothing at all. The judges were mesmerized. The audience and media off the field were just watching the judges and commenting while tasting. I couldn't help but salivate on the tip of my tongue. This feeling of being able to see and not eat is very uncomfortable. Someone even took the lead in exclaiming, "Has Lin Fan opened a restaurant?" Or, "Is he planning to open a restaurant?" 55. Wow, this sentence seems to have hit a hornet's nest. The scene was extremely boiling in an instant. Where is Lin Fan's restaurant? According to the grapevine, he came up with the chicken nuggets recipe at Mozu House. What? The Mozu House that has won the championship 3 years in a row? No wonder. It seemed to be the formula provided by one of the Totsuki Elite 10s earlier. According to rumors, Lin Fan changed the formula after he took it. The sales volume is now several times as high as before, and no one can match it. I'll just say the sudden surge in sales, there must be an expert behind it. I didn't expect it to be Lin Fan. Then the taste of this sashimi. Everyone, experience it for yourself. I really want to try it. I only have to taste it once in my life. Even if it's just one bite, I'm satisfied. 35. The scene was almost out of control. However, this affected the group very much, and the remaining students made the dishes. It was all cheers and shouts. It's hard not to pay attention to Lin Fan. Soon, a whole plate of fresh bream with strong ice was cleaned up in an instant. But the judges didn't seem to have enough. One judge said, "Not enough. I haven't tasted enough yet. Anything else?" Lin Fan held his hands and said calmly, "This senior, a skating blade like the Beichon Heavenly Wolf blade is not something that can be done with an ordinary piece of ice. Not to mention that the conditions for finding materials are extremely strict, and it is not something that can be done casually. Even if it's like me, it's hard not to be frostbitten by its icy aura, even if it's a minor injury. The importance of a pair of hands to a chef. This dish is priceless." So, the judges actually said that they still want to taste it. The judges were speechless. The only one in the world, the priceless Bing Tai Shan, was born at Tsuki's elite chef competition. No one can surpass it, and no one can perfect it. The media are reading and writing the manuscripts one after another. This ultimate sashimi dish, once it comes out, will definitely create an uproar in the food circles all over the world. And for the rest of the time, the remaining student in Group A, Yukihira SMA, was the second to do well. I saw Yukihira SMA subconsciously glanced at Lin Fan before explaining. Before looking at the jury, I had already eaten all the fish fillets. Subconsciously swallowed. He knew the gap between himself and Lin Fan. Yukihira SMA took a deep breath and said, "I used onions and beef, diced them and fry them, and stuffed them into the belly of the fish, using oil as a base and adding a little honey to the sauce. 9. The whole fish is evenly spread and finally put in the oven. 39. Cumin, cloves, cardamom, these all come together and are fully absorbed by the fish. However, the rice in the fish belly fully absorbs the gravy of the fish. This mock-Sebastian grilled sori with rice is not well received." After Yukihira SMA finished speaking, the judges looked at it carefully. The crispy sori grilled on the plate is wrapped in a thick sauce, and the color is full of flavor. Exudes an alluring fragrance. The judges began to taste. The moment the chopsticks opened the fish maw, the rich and fragrant aroma instantly hit the nostrils. Beneath the crispy exterior is the tender, juicy interior. The rice grains are even and full in the belly of the fish. It has been fully absorbed. Just wait for a bite. The judges began to taste. The rice comes with beef granules and onions, which is paired with fish that is crispy on the outside and tender on the inside. After eating it in one bite, the judges applauded one after another. After a while, it's time to start scoring. Kawashima Rei came over and said excitedly, "The first scoring of Group A has begun. Lin Fan's Live Bingxian Taishan vs Yukihira SMA's Roasted Sori with Rice. Who will win?" The judges thought about it carefully. In the end, one of the judges said, "Both young chefs cook great. Yukihira SMA's grilled sori with rice is very creative and delicious." 99 Yukihira SMA smiled slightly. The judge continued, "But, speaking of which," everyone frowned. The judge took a deep breath and continued, "I've never eaten such fresh, novel sashimi as I think today." 35. Wow, there was an uproar off the field. The judges became emotional and said, "Although the sori is very creative in production." 35. But I ate sashimi, no. It should be the ultimate meaning of fish. 5. Fresh. It seems that Lin Fan interprets fish in the simplest way, but his production process and what came out in the end was anything but simple. The theme of this show is fish, and I ate the mystery of fish, which is amazing. This dish is priceless, the only one in the world. 39. 0.flowers00. So, we finally negotiated that Lin Fan score for Fresh Snapper Mountain is full score 100 points. Wow. The sound of boiling in the stadium seems to be about to collapse the roof. As the host, Rei Kawashima was so excited that she was trembling when she spoke. This is so incredible. 35 out of 100. Oh my God. In the history of Totsuki, has anyone ever scored a perfect score? Lin Fan seems to be the first person. Isn't this unbelievable? 100 points, what the judges said. What is the ultimate meaning of fish and meat? 35. Oh my God. How powerful it is to get these 100 points. Such a grade has put enormous pressure on the students behind. It's no exaggeration to say that the next cooking, when the score comes up, doesn't put any pressure on Lin Fan. Unless, among the remaining 4, someone can get 100 points. In this way, the two of them can enter the final stage, and it is possible to win against Lin Fan. Otherwise, Lin Fan's ice-cold fresh sea bream is unparalleled. Breaking news. Only in the first round of the knockout, Lin Fan took care of it and played the atmosphere of the final. The judge continued, "Our final rating for Yukihira SMA's dish is 96. 39. Clearly, Yukihira SMA was a little lost. Looking at Lin Fan, the classmate in front of him seemed like an invisible mountain. He is like an ant all the way down the mountain. At present, no matter how hard he tries and how competitive he is, ants are ants, and it is impossible to climb mountains all at once." Kawashima Rei hurriedly came out and said, "Well, 96 points is also quite a powerful score." Then next, the third person to cook well is Hayama Ryo-san. The voice fell, and I saw Yi Shanliang slowly walking forward with the dishes in his hands. After putting down the dishes, he also looked at Lin Fan subconsciously and looked at the empty plate where only ice cubes melted into water. Then he took a deep breath and said calmly, "My dish is curry fish donburi." 99. The judges nodded. The scent is strong, with anise, lemon, cinnamon, and more. Also can smell some dairy products. But here, there is also a special spice, but I can't tell what it is. 35. The judges are suspicious. Ryo Hayama said to himself, "This spice is the holy basil and other spices that are called mysterious elixir in Ayurveda. Put these spice combinations together and then add the fish. After the fish curry is made, put on top of the rice. Very appetizing and delicious." The judges nodded. Then, serve the curry broth with the fish and mix it with the rice. Scoop it up with a spoon and eat in one bite. Point 0. This chapter contains pictures. Click the illustration button in the lower right corner of the screen to view the pictures. Chapter 127, The Ultimate Meaning of Fish Meat. There is no way to rate it. 4/5 for subscription after entering. Boom! The slightly spicy curry collided with the fish. Like a bomb, it exploded in the mouth in an instant, until Tianling Gai. Curry. I have curry all over my head right now. The smell is skyrocketing. The fish has been completely blended with the curry, and the taste of the two is 1.99. Because of the addition of cheese, a layer of meringue is formed on the surface of the curry. As soon as the spoon tore through the cheese meringue, the aroma of the curry burst out, like a volcano erupting. This taste is so overbearing. Just as soon as I enter it, my entire taste buds are occupied. The judges were exaggerated. Although the audience could not see it, what the judges said was a special effect like a volcanic eruption. But the fragrance wafting out from the scene, the strong fragrance can be judged. This curry fish rice bowl by Eizan Zhijin is ferocious and has a very clear purpose, which is close to Lin Fan. Before the completion of this fish curry rice bowl, almost everyone felt that Lin Fan was firmly seated in the first place. After Eizan Zhijin brought the ingredients, everyone changed their minds. The 070 scene is boiling again. This Hayama Ryo seems to be the champion of the Totsuki Autumn Tournament, right? Sure enough, he has some ability. It's not like it's the champion. The runner-up is a Yukihira, who made Yukihira just now. He's really strong. 35. I heard that this Yukihira SMA is also very capable, and is also outstanding among the freshmen, but it was overshadowed by Lin Fan's light. 35. If Lin Fan hadn't appeared, Yukihira SMA and Ryo Hayama would have been the most eye-catching among Tsuki's freshmen. Unfortunately, this is not Lin Fan, but Yishanliang's dish is really good. But the ultimate meaning of fish meat, this is not the evaluation of ordinary people. The media and the audience kept talking. The scene was boiling. And next, Shoko Kasagaji, Cool Kurikiba, and Teruki Juga also brought up the dishes one after another. Kurikiba Ryo, sorry baked rice, please try it. Shoko Kasagaji, taste udon noodles with sea bream head in thick soup. 35. Juga Teruji, fish-flavored red oil chaos ho. The three placed the dishes on the jury table in turn. Kuga Teruki's dish is very unique. Lin Fan looked at him and found out that Zhu Zhaoji was also looking at him. It can be seen that this guy is still not giving up. He is still very stubborn. The judges started tasting in turn. Boom, boom, boom. The scene exploded in an instant, with repeated sighs and praises. Take the trouble to be amazed over and over again. Kawashima Rei stood on the side and said in surprise, "It really is an elite student of Tsuki." Such a scene, in normal times, would only appear in a round of eating halberds. Today, this is a gathering of all the elite students to compete at the same time. Such a scene is unprecedented. It's the first time. It's coming. This class of freshmen is also known as the strongest class this year. Everyone, it's a real treat. Let's see how the judges will rate it. Saying that, Kawashima Rei also turned her gaze to the jury's seat. After the judges calmed down slowly, they discussed each other for a while. Finally, a reviewer came out with a summary. I'm here to announce the rating of this game. Ryo Hayama's fish curry rice bowl scored 95 points. Eizan Zhijin was shocked and looked at Lin Fan subconsciously. All along, in order to wait until today, Hayama Ryo kept contacting and researching, especially seeing Lin Fan, who is also very good at using spices. It made Eizan Zhijin work hard day and night. Everything, just for today's game. This is a close-quarters competition with Lin Fan. It is also in order to be able to research the spice matching method that can defeat Lin Fan. Before today, Eizan Zhijin had a lot of confidence. His new spice mix comes with dishes, even if it can't beat Lin Fan outright. That can also give Lin Fan a big blow, and to let the other party see his own strength is also very strong. But Hayama Ryo's current rating has not even surpassed Yukihira SMA. Impossible. How is it possible? 99. Eizan Zhijin kept talking. Seeing this, Lin Fan silently walked to his side. After looking at it, he chuckled. It's a good thing to have ideals and ambitions, but you better remember me. My height is something you can't touch in your life. As long as I'm here, you can only look up to me. You have no other choice. If you can come this far and shine on this stage, you will be content. Certainly, I also understand your dissatisfaction, but there are many people who are more dissatisfied than you in Zhijin. There is only one outcome waiting for them. That is, they all disappeared. Having said that, Lin Fan looked indifferent and continued. And if you want to be safe and sound in Tsuki until graduation, or after graduation, get a foothold in this circle. 35, then from this moment on, you are just like them, and you'd better stay in the council honestly. Otherwise, how many foreshadowings you don't know? Don't think that you are an example and can surpass me. I'm saying it again. Don't think about it for the rest of your life. 35 after speaking. Lin Fan smiled and stood aside. Qinglong widened his eyes after hearing this. His throat seemed to be stuck by a fishbone, but when it came to his mouth, he couldn't say it. Lin Fan's words were like a sharp blade, piercing his heart directly. All of Hayama Ryo's hopes were wiped out. He didn't even have the strength to get up and fight back. Qinglong unconsciously glanced at Lin Fan. Seeing that he remained calm, he was already winning, and he was just waiting for the result. The conversation just now seems to have never happened. Qinglong took a deep breath and looked back at the judge's seat. Next, the reviewers proceeded to announce the scores. Karajiba Ryo, 94 points. Kuga Taruki, 95.5 points. Kasugai Shoko, 93 points. Pat, pat, pat. The audience clapped involuntarily. Kawashima Rei was even more surprised. Congratulations to the students who advanced to the knockout rounds. Having said this, he pretended to be disappointed and said, but I still feel sorry for Shoko Kasumijai, and I almost got promoted. It shows how much more work you need to do. The crowd cheered 0. The judges still regained their composure, leaned back on their chairs, and waited for the next competition. On the field, among the students in Group A, except for Lin Fan, the rest of them had different expressions. Hayama Ryo was shocked by what Lin Fan said just now and stood there dumbfounded. For a long time, I have nothing to say, even a little helpless. I thought that except Lin Fan, he could crush all the freshmen at will. But unexpectedly, Yukihira SMA and Ryo Hayama popped up. But for a long time, I followed GE in Chinese cuisine, and I still don't give up. He hoped that Sheath would have the opportunity to confront Lin Fan once again in Chinese cooking. Kazuki Shoko heaved a sigh of relief. Kurikiba cool. It seems that Lin Fan did not speak. When leaving the stage, pass other people and stop. I can only say congratulations for the time being. 95, but don't be too happy too soon. Judging from the current situation, you are just a stepping stone for Lin Fan. 99, just a stepping stone to help him gain fame. Hehehe. Kurikiba Ryo finished speaking in a long voice, then turned and left. This sentence made the advanced people start to think for a moment. Even if they knew, Lin Fan was powerful in front of him. But in front of them is a ticket to a whole new world. No matter what, they must fight for it. At this time, Kawashima Rei shifted the topic to the judges. Seniors, so no matter how perfect the cooking of these classmates is, can't they beat Lin Fan's fresh Ice Bream Mountain? After a reviewer listened, he nodded meaningfully. The judge next to him said, "Student, I'm afraid you don't quite understand your age and qualifications. But at our age and status, in our lifetime, we can actually eat the ultimate meaning of fish, and I have no regrets in this life." 35 another, Judge hurriedly said, 0.0s. Through a shocking ice blade, the fish can be kept fresh to the greatest extent. It can be said that there is no second way in the world, such as the delicious fish like Liebing fresh Taishan. Including this moment, I still have endless aftertastes. I can still recall the feeling that the fish is in the mouth, as if it is swimming. This dish is beyond any sashimi dish. I would say it's the end of the sashimi dish. It was so delicious. It was so delicious. Having said that, the judges collectively began to reminisce. Rei Kawashima nodded vigorously and looked at Lin Fan in admiration. Then he went to the middle of the stage again. Still excited, the current ranking of this group, The first one is undoubtedly Lin Fan. Second place is Yukihira SMA. Third place Hayama Ryo. Fourth place is a long time ago, 99. The fifth place is Shoko Kasuki. Congratulations to these 5 students. Then next, the second round of knockouts in this group will take place. 35. This chapter contains pictures. Click the illustration button in the lower right corner of the screen to view the pictures. Chapter 128 is time to take out Shohen Old Noodles. 5/5 for subscription. Next, it's time to enter the second round of the knockout. Then the theme given in this field is Kawashima Rei took the handcard in her hand, looked at it, and said excitedly, diversification. This theme is very interesting. There is no clear description of the categories of ingredients, just to tell you, diversity. Then, there are so many types here. Although it sounds a bit difficult, the players have a wide range of choices. Looks like it's another fight. Just hearing this topic makes me feel so nervous. For now, Lin Fan is the first. Then can the students in Group A be able to counterattack next? Let's see in an hour. 35. After Kawashima Rei finished speaking, she silently retreated to the side. The most active off the field is the media. Various media began to express their views, and some even started trading again. Looks like it's all winning by buying Lin Fan. The odds are already very low. I remember Lin Fan was challenging Elite 10's halberd, and the person who bought him and lost made a lot of money. Will it be reversed this time? 39. Judging from the current situation, the probability of reversal is not high. It's too strong. I feel that the students in this group are not opponents at all. Wrong. Actually, what I'm looking forward to is the match between Lin Fan and the guest chefs. Yeah, because of the competition system in 08, Lin Fan was forced to compete with these students. According to Lin Fan's strength, although he is never compared, he is far above these students, right? Have you heard that this contest is specially prepared for Lin Fan by the great demon King Nakiri Senzaman? The media seem to be more gossipy. Get together in a crowd and start a crazy discussion. Hey, I heard the news from the servants of the Nakiri family. It is said that Lin Fan has received an invitation letter at that time. You know, what is the concept of directly receiving an invitation letter? 35. Yes, I heard about it. But because Nakiri-senpai has concerns, he thinks that although Lin Fan is very strong, he has no qualifications. Before joining Tsuki, he was a blank sheet of paper, and he was afraid that people in the industry would not admit it. 5. You said that I understand this elite chef competition is said to be the selection of Tsuki. To put it bluntly, isn't it just gilding Lin Fan? It's not so much gilding, but to put it more bluntly, it's just a stepping stone. If you don't think about it, how long has it been since Tsuki has produced a chef like Xiang Lin Fan? How can Nakiri Senzaman be spared? 99. Think about it. There was a Dojima Jin in the 69th issue, and it was really a gourmet food circle back then. How beautiful Tsuki was at that time. So, this time, Nakiri Senzaman has gone all the way in the face of off-field media discussions. These sounds, more or less, can reach the ears of the students on the field. Of course, Lin Fan heard it too, but he didn't feel any fuss. Since this is Nakiri Senzaman's plan, then just do it yourself and step on the road he has paved. However, other students in the same group were naturally uncomfortable when they heard these remarks. Each of them looked at Lin Fan with a long expression, but can't do anything to him. Even if you know if all this is really arranged by Nakiri Senzaman, then they can only happily accept it. The only good thing is that Lin Fan isn't the only one who made the decision. Whoever has the ability to fight through this elite competition will be the final winner. On the scene, the students pondered each other. The atmosphere was very tense. Only Lin Fan, as if nothing had happened, walked out of the crowd and walked towards the ingredients area. Yi Shanliang was shocked and said, "Is this guy so confident? Look at him. There is no pressure at all." Shoko Kasuki took a deep breath and said, "Humph. I only had a short competition with him. 95. It's not a 1v1 game yet. And the pressure on me now is the strongest it's ever been." Yukihira SMA patted her chest and said, "Although Lin Fan is very strong, I will do my best. I hope to surpass him, no matter how it ends." Only for a long time I take care of the discipline, and my face is calm. It seemed that he was autistic after being beaten by Lin Fan, and he didn't want to say a lot, but kept it in his heart. I have been looking for opportunities to have a hard time with Lin Fan about Chinese cuisine. At this time, I did not care about other people for a long time and silently followed Lin Fan's footsteps to the ingredients area. See Lin Fan picking ingredients. For a long time, I said silently, Chinese cuisine. My Chinese cooking philosophy is not wrong. 99. No matter what, I will never miss the opportunity to learn Chinese cuisine with you. I used to hold Eishi Tsukasa and eat the halberd, but this time it's better. Since you appeared, my target has changed. 5. I must beat you by my so-called Chinese cuisine, so as to prove that my philosophy is right. For a long time, I muttered in a low voice. Lin Fan heard it, turned his head, and smiled. Really? It seems that in the previous competitions, you still failed to change your concept? Why are you so stubborn? Want to use Chinese cuisine, right? Okay, this one. Aside from them, I'll completely make you give up on your idea. After finishing speaking, Lin Fan prepared all the ingredients and turned away. On the side, Kawashima Rei, as the host's acuity, smelled a different breath along the price. Immediately walked over to Lin Fan. Student Lin, what did you say to Jojo just now? Before, the two of you had differences on Chinese cuisine, but even after you've beaten Jijin time and time again, he always seems to stick to his beliefs. So this game, Lin Fan didn't wait for Kawashima Rei to finish, and then said, in this game, I will use Chinese cuisine to fight him. 35. While the media off the field seemed to smell the gossip again. Click, click, the flashing lights flashed again and again, and they sounded nonstop. Lin Fan continued. Our conversation just now was very simple. Because he lost to me again and again, he never admitted that his philosophy was wrong. So this time, he still wants to beat me with his so-called Chinese cuisine. It's that simple. Jing Kawashima Rei was stunned by such a straightforward statement. After digesting the information quickly, he smiled and said, so, do you still use the Sichuan cuisine and Chinese cuisine to compete? Lin Fan thought about it and replied, I want to teach him how to be a man with Chinese cuisine. Wow, there was an uproar again. For a long time, I stood in front of the cooking table, my teeth itch with hatred. Lin Fan returned to the cooking table. Kawashima Rei has been following closely behind. Seeing Lin Fan leaning down, he took out a small jar from under the cooking table. Kawashima Rei asked curiously, hey, what's in this ceramic jar? Lin Fan opened the lid of the jar and took out a ball of smooth and white dough. Kawashima Rei was surprised. Dough? Isn't this kneaded dough? Wow. Classmate Lin, do you know what to expect? 95. How can you predict today's theme? Or, you have already thought about the dishes you're going to cook today, so prepare all the relevant ingredients in advance. It's hard work like you. It's too hard to fail. The more Kawashima Rei spoke, the more excited she became, and the more she spoke, the more she cast an admiring look at Lin Fan. It's just an idiot. Lin Fan took out the fresh flour again. Then he said, this dough is no ordinary dough. 35. This is the old Shu Han noodles passed down from the ancestors. Kawashima 070. Li was surprised. Shohan, old noodle? How old is it? Lin Fan laughed. How old is it? It's not convenient to reveal it here. It's a secret. 35. But you just have to remember, just use a little of this old dough. You can quickly ferment the dough to the extreme. 35. In this way, the noodles will be extremely fluffy, soft, and delicious. Kawashima Li envied. Before classmate Lin cooked it, I have already begun to imagine this delicious food. So it's a face-to-face, right? 99. Lin Fan nodded with a smile. Then, sprinkle the flour on a clean countertop. Kawashima Rei looked at it and said hurriedly, this familiar movement, could it be? Bailuo snake turns the chain. 35. Shohan old noodles with Bailuo snake twist chain? What kind of situation is that? Wow, the field was boiling again. Bailuo snake turns the chain. I have only seen it in the only video clips on the internet. That scene is as shocking as the special effects. 99. I saw it for the first time today. I didn't expect to be lucky enough to see it live. I'm so lucky. My God, look at the goosebumps on my body. I just heard from Tsuki's students that the scene was extremely shocking. I didn't expect to see it with my own eyes. Luck, this is luck. It is understood that among all Lin Fan's cooking skills, I just want to see the Bailuo snake turn the chain. The field was boiling, pulling the atmosphere to the highest point. The students of Tsuki were not familiar with this at all, and they were even more excited to see it again. In the first-time media audience. Before, it was only on the internet or in the mouth of others. So to be able to witness it with our own eyes today, everyone held their breath and stared straight at Lin Fan. Chapter 129, Fluffy like a Cloud. Invincible. 1/5 for subscription. All eyes were on Lin Fan. Everyone wants to see if this cooking skill, which is only mentioned by name, is really as powerful as it is rumored. Whoosh whoosh, I saw the stick held by Lin Fan, slowly rotating from the inside out. As the rotation speeded up, the surrounding wind began to pick up. The media began to look around and determined that the wind in the venue was caused by Lin Fan spinning the flour. The person who saw this scene for the first time looked like he had never seen the world before. Staring straight at Lin Fan, he didn't even dare to blink. As the speed increases, the magnitude of the rotation also increases. Kawashima Rei reminded, "Come here." The audience and friends in the venue should pay attention and be optimistic about the valuables around you. Otherwise, oops. Before Kawashima Lei's words were finished, he gave a whoosh. A hurricane blew from her, and at the same time as this hurricane was up, a white giant python snaked straight up in an instant, blow the things in the hands of the audience off the field into pieces. The audience exclaimed, "Say it's too slow. What a big wind. A white python. Oh my God, is this cooking?" This is too exaggerated, isn't it? I have seen it in online videos, but I always thought that it was added with special effects in the later stage. 99. My phone was blown away. The first time I saw it, the scene was so shocking. With bursts of exclamations, the field was in chaos. There are things blown up by the hurricane everywhere, flying all over the sky. Rei Kawashima on stage almost hugged Lin Fan when she was blown away. "Just hug him so tightly, so that I don't get blown away." Kawashima Rei took the microphone and said, "Big, everyone be careful." This time, it's even more exaggerated than the last time. It's so scary, I almost got scratched away. Fortunately, gradually, the wind began to weaken. The white giant python gradually faded away. After a while, it was just a ball of white and smooth dough sitting quietly on the cooking table. No one can imagine. Just the last second, this dough was so intimidating. However, just when Kawashima Rei just walked in and wanted to look again, suddenly, something even more miraculous happened. I saw Kawashima Rei with an exaggerated expression, pointing at the dough on the cooking table. The dough is starting to rise. Oh my God! All the audience, just in the last second, were still immersed in the shock of the Bailuo snake's chain. Haven't had time to reminisce. It's like an ups and downs, wonderful movie, one ring after another, exciting. At this time, seeing the dough on the cooking table, it seems that a certain device switch button has been turned on. Yeasts multiply and grow rapidly in a very comfortable aerobic environment inside the dough. And this starch is converted into sugar and consumed, while producing carbon dioxide gas. Make this group of smooth surface, rapid, and continuous expansion. When it expanded to a certain extent, the dough on the cooking table looked like a soft cloud. After seeing it, Kawashima Rei couldn't help but exclaimed, "It looks so fluffy. It should be softer than a sponge." Seeing her look of anticipation, Lin Fan handed over the disposable gloves and allowed her to touch them. Kawashima Rei was surprised. "Quickly put on your gloves and step forward." Kawashima Rei couldn't bear to start, for fear of destroying the beauty of this dough. Lin Fan motioned her to relax. The audience off the field were envious and said that if they had such an opportunity, they would definitely try it without hesitation. Kawashima Rei took a deep breath and slowly extended her hand to the dough. The palm of the hand is flat on the dough, already feeling the friendliness from the dough. A gentle pressing action. The dough collapsed quickly, leaving her defenseless. Surprise! A look of surprise appeared on Rei Kawashima's face. So fluffy, so fluffy. like pressing a marshmallow. 35, it feels like the whole person, lying on the soft cotton candy. 5, awesome. Kawashima Rei was amazed and fantasized. At this time, Kawashima Rei imagined her, lying on this cloud-like dough. Dough carried her to a world of dough that only belonged to her. In addition to being fluffy, it's fluffy. Thinking of bursting in an instant, bursting clothes. Jumped off the dough and fell to the fluffy dough floor. Kawashima Rei was bombarded again. What a wonderful feeling. Everyone was amazed. Everyone off the field, including countless cameras, all aimed at Rei Kawashima. At this time, she saw that she put a hand on the dough lightly. As for what she was thinking, she had no idea. Everyone is so curious what Rei Kawashima is going through. However, only Lin Fan knows what Rei Kawashima is going through. Can only shake his head. This classmate's way of doing things is too shallow, and this is enough to make her like this. Grave accent, hey, classmates, stay awake. It's just a piece of dough. If the finished food comes out, do you still have it? After being reminded by Lin Fan, Kawashima Rei instantly recovered. Shu's face turned red all of a sudden, very embarrassed. You step aside first, or go over there and have a look. Block me here. Lin Fan helped Kawashima Rei find a reason to help her resolve the embarrassment. Kawashima Rei seemed to have caught a life-saving straw and immediately turned around and headed toward the other players. Lin Fan placed the dough and walked to the kitchen area. After searching for a long time, I couldn't find anything that could be used. Then, he simply turned around and picked up a kitchen knife, silently walking towards the gate of the venue. This scene made everyone stunned. Zhao's. What's going on? Kawashima Rei stood behind and asked, Student Lin, where are you going? It's still playing. 99 Lin Fan didn't look back and left a sentence. I know it's a game. It's not time yet, right? 35. As I said, the competition stipulates that you can bring your own ingredients and kitchenware. But there is no rule that you can't go out to find ingredients, kitchenware, and props during the competition. 99. Don't worry, it won't take long. I'll be right back. 35. Cute dividing line. Fork 1 Chapter 134 Gods Seafood 8 Treasure Bags. 2/5 for subscription. Lin Fan left the meeting place between the moon and the sky in full view. In this way, all the audience were left behind, leaving them all confused. Kawashima Rei wanted to go out, but there were other contestants on the field. He could only stand on the stage and watch Lin Fan's back gradually disappear from sight. The media won't miss any potentially breaking news. So followed out. See Lin Fan looking around outside the venue. They were very curious about what this talented chef wanted to do. Still following behind, Lin Fan walked into a green belt. And this is no ordinary green belt. It is bamboo specially selected by Totsuki and brought back from China at a high price. Lin Fan walked in and patted the bamboo. Truly a rare breed, well cared for. The media haven't reacted yet. I saw Lin Fan raise the arm holding the kitchen knife and wave it forward fiercely. Bang, 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 knife after knife rush to the bamboo. The media behind them were stunned, not knowing what Lin Fan was going to do. This young man, is he venting because of the pressure of the game? Why not? I really can't think of any reason for him to do this to a piece of bamboo. And these bamboo species are quite precious. Maybe it's food. I don't quite understand what you said. Can bamboo 070 be used as an ingredient? Perhaps. I know that China has a kind of rice called bamboo tube rice, which is made by steaming rice in a bamboo tube. That kind of rice has the fragrance of bamboo. 35. If this is the case, then the cost is too high. It's okay, Tsuki is rich. By the way, isn't this guy quite rich now? That's right. It's worthy of being a local tyrant school. The cooking techniques of the students are so simple and unpretentious. The media chatted jokingly. It seems that they have all tacitly agreed that what Lin Fan wants to do is bamboo rice. But next, after Lin Fan chopped down the bamboo, he carried it back to the stadium. This further confirmed his idea of making bamboo rice. Media reporters began to write news releases one after another. Tsuki Chief Lin Fan uses precious bamboo to cook bamboo rice. Surprise! The local tyrant school is well-deserved, and the high-priced and precious bamboo was chopped up by the students as food. Confirmed, Lin Fan is going to make bamboo rice, paired with noble varieties of bamboo. The taste must be unbelievable. News like this spreads all over the internet in an instant. However, just when everyone was convinced that Lin Fan was cooking bamboo rice, I saw him sit down in the cooking area and process the chopped bamboos again to make bamboo strips. At this moment, the venue was fried. He doesn't make bamboo rice. How can bamboo sticks be used as containers for rice? The news has been sent out, and this guy really doesn't play cards according to common sense. What's going on? 35. Then what is he going to do? I don't understand, now that the time has passed half an hour, and there is still half an hour. What does Lin Fan want to do? 95. Anyway, from his game to the present, he never does anything he is not sure about. If you want to know the result, you have to sit down and watch it slowly. Yes, I found it too. It's like watching a movie, the plot is ups and downs, and those with a bad heart can't watch it. In the midst of a lot of discussion, Lin Fan pretended that nothing had happened. Concentrate on weaving the bamboo strips in your hands. However, there's still 20 minutes left before the game deadline. The other students are stepping up to do the finishing touches. Only then did Lin Fan weave the bamboo strips. Take a closer look. It's a bamboo boat. Kawashima Rei walked over, looking back and forth, left and right. What an exquisite bamboo boat. I didn't expect that Lin has such a skill. She is a versatile talent. And many more. Speaking of which, Kawashima Rei found something was wrong. Only then did he react. And he continued. This is a food competition. This bamboo boat is so beautifully crafted that it can't be eaten. Student Lin, don't you want to tell us that this bamboo boat is edible after your careful handling? Like pandas eat bamboo. Kawashima Rei said, half-jokingly. Lin Fan glanced at it and said calmly, after watching so many games, you're still so cute. 9. Kawashima Rei was slightly embarrassed and smiled. Lin Fan didn't speak, turned around, and went back to the cooking table. At this time, there are still 18 minutes before the deadline. Behind him, Yi Shanliang, Juga Taruki, and others, the food is about to come out of the pot. Lin Fan remained unhurried. Get out his steel rod, Kawashima Rei exclaimed. It's that special steel rod. 35, after the last use. It seems that there's a newly carved 5-pointed star on the stick. I took it out again today. So, classmate Lin, do you want to have more records? Rei Kawashima's words made the scene even more excited. The audience is excited one by one, waiting for Lin Fan to make a stunt. The students behind Lin Fan were like green leaves with no sense of existence. At this time, Lin Fan folded the steel rod in half and held it in his hand. Next second, prepare the ingredients in advance. Start working with both hands at the same time and quickly mash them. Bang, bang, bang fast, Kawashima Rei was surprised. So this steel rod has such a function. 55, it can be divided into 2 parts and can be used to mash meat and ingredients. It's really amazing to be able to roll out the dough when the two are combined. But student, Lin, you have to hurry up. There are 15 minutes before the deadline. The voice just fell, and the fillings were ready. The speed is suffocating. Then, seeing that Lin Fan really combined the 2 sticks into one and started to process the dough, whoosh whoosh pieces of dough fluttered in the air and then fell neatly. Gorgeously turned around, picked up the dough, a spoonful of filling, and quickly pinched it with your fingers. A steamed bun quickly flew to the prepared bamboo boat. This speed is outrageous, like a double-speed machine. Do not faster, more efficient, and more accurate than machines. Kawashima Rei is counting down. With 12 minutes left, I'm too nervous. Can classmate Lin finish it on time? Even if you wrap them all up, do you still need time to steam them all? Just when there were 10 minutes left, Lin Fan put the bamboo boat into a special large steamer without any mistakes. The good thing about Tsuki is that you can find all the ingredients and kitchenware at Tsuki as long as you dare to think about it. This is one of the reasons why it is called a chef's mecca, because the plasticity is very strong. It depends on whether these students will grasp it. After getting on the steamer, Kawashima Rei said with a sigh, as expected of Lin Fan, the work of this card is really top-notch. The atmosphere of cooking is quite enthusiastic, which is why every time I ate halberd before, it was full. 5 Lin Fan showed his passion for cooking very well. This is the most valuable place for a chef. Lin Fan stood on the side and smiled calmly. We have to face difficulties, but we don't want to be mediocre. 5, this is my rule of thumb. Luo pat pat pat. There was applause from the audience, cheering for Lin Fan. Everyone was discussing, praising, and still looking forward to the amazing dish that was about to come out of the pot. 10 minutes later, when Rei Kawashima announced that it was time for the game, Lin Fan easily turned off the fire. My cooking was also completed on schedule. The name is Sishen Seafood 8 Treasures. At this moment, the whole venue is filled with the fragrance of bamboo. It was like being in a bamboo forest. The students brought the dishes to the jury table one after another. Lin Fan sighed because the size is a little too large, sees him calling someone over, and needs someone to help. The audience stared straight at the steamer. 2 staff members, one holding one side and wearing heat-insulating gloves, opened the lid together. Chapter 131, The Ultimate Food Mystery That Surpasses All Food. 3/5 for subscription. The whole venue is full of fragrance. The fragrance of bamboo makes the audience so intoxicated. Next, with the assistance of 2 staff members, the lid was opened instantly. Whoa, whoa, light. In the familiar scene, strong golden light burst out one after another. The 2 staff standing on the side almost fell to the ground. This light is so dazzling. I can't open my eyes. What should I do? I can't see anything. Can anyone help me? The 2 staff members shouted in panic while trying to find a support point so that their center of gravity would not be unstable and fall. The scene was also boiling. I can't see anything clearly. It's all dazzling light. Does this Lin Fan have to be so exaggerated in cooking? My God, what the hell happened? The first time I saw a Lin Fan show, I was shocked. Today's harvest is not small. I dare to say that watching a Lin Fan cooking competition is better than 10. Compared to what I saw before, it's boring. 35. Isn't this Lin Fan's performance alone? The group of students in the back are really used as a foil. Poor. I thought Suki's elite students were so strong. No wonder it took so many years to get a Lin Fan. These students are not on the same level as Lin Fan at all. It seems that only the guest chefs are the opponents of Lin Fan. The audience chatted. No one cares. Lin Fan is a contestant. As if their positioning is the green leaf, their role is the stepping stone of Lin Fan. And this one is not a game at all, but Lin Fan's personal showtime. Just watching him perform alone is enough. On the field, the light from cooking is also getting stronger and stronger. In the strong light, there's a fragrance that is twice as strong as before, as well as the smell of some ingredients. After the baptism of bamboo, the aroma becomes more pleasant. 2 staff members, staring at the temptation on the taste buds, lifted the bamboo boat out of the big steamer. At this time, the golden light slowly dissipated, and the water vapor also slowly disappeared. The sight of the crowd was restored. On the bamboo boat, one by one, colorful steam buns are placed on top of each other neatly. Kawashima Rei hurriedly came over to take a look and exclaimed, "This bun not only is colors, but also has characters on it." Wow, this time, the curiosity of the audience was aroused again. Kawashima Rei looked at it carefully and said, "Red, green, black, white. There are 4 colors, and there are characters printed on the buns of these 4 colors. The green one says dragon. 35, the white one, is a tiger. The red one is Zhe. The black one is Wu. God, this is amazing. How did Lin Fan do it in such a short time? 99, let's not talk about the time issue. Do the words on these colorful buns mean anything? And also, is it the same as the previous dumplings? Each color has a different taste. Is it also a dough made of tea leaves? Rei Kawashima has many questions. And these are the questions the audience wants to ask. Behind Lin Fan, Yukihira SMA was so shocked that she put down the tableware in her hand without blinking. Lin Fan laughed. Dough made from tea leaves? Then you underestimate me too. This time, the buns of each color are indeed made of different ingredients. 35, furthermore, in order to match the fillings in the buns well, The selection of material for the bun skins was also done well. For example, the white dough is shark fins, and the red ones are carrots. In turn, black is black sesame seeds, green is spinach. It's here, this 4 Souls Seafood 8 treasure bag, also known as Soul bag. Wow, another uproar. Kawashima Ray was surprised. Soul pack? Could it be? Before this, you also used the Baluo snake chain to make a bowl of noodles. That's the soul-suppressing noodles. And this soul-suppressing noodle, I clearly remember, is a ramen that can calm the mind of the eater and make it happy. 35. However, now this bun is also known as the Soul Rescue Bag, and I saw that the Baluo snake chain and Kawashima Ray's expression was even more exaggerated. Is it possible this soul-soothing pack also has the effect of soul-soothing noodles? As for Flowers 00, Lin Fan chuckled. It's better to say an upgraded version than an effect. Wow, another surprise. Lin Fa continued. These 4 color buns are Qinglong, Suzuku, Xuanwu, and White Tiger. These 4 Chinese mythical beasts represent the 4 directions. They guard the 4 directions, and there are also ups and downs. The same is true for this soul pack, which can soothe people's hearts. Even if you're irritable, as long as you eat it, you could be redeemed. 99 and this. It's the soul-suppressing bag, the true meaning of this 4 Souls Seafood and 8 treasure bag. It's the ultimate food beyond all food. Wow, the audience said in unison. The ultimate food that surpasses all food. Lin Fan still smiled and said, yes, this is the sacred and lofty meaning of food. As soon as these words came out, the contestants behind Lin Fan were stunned. It took me a long time to talk to Zhaoji for a long time. This is the Chinese cuisine he wants to compare with me. Yukihira SMA didn't speak, just watched silently. The judges were in awe after hearing the explanation of Lin Fan's dish. The rest of the people brought the dishes to the jury in turn, one by one. Looking at Lin Fan's cooking, it was brought to the cooking table by 2 people. Everyone looked at the soul pack in front of them. The cooking made by Lin Fan is completely different from theirs. Not even in one dimension. How does this compare? The dishes on the jury table, except for the Sishen seafood bababeo, were all overshadowed. The judges were also unceremonious and focused all their attention on the soul pack. 3 judges, 1 picked up a color. Holding in their hands, the 3 exclaimed, cute dividing line chapter 132, is this the control of the heart? 1/5 for subscription. Hey, it's so hot, but it smells so good. The 3 judges took the steamed bun in their hands and couldn't wait to break it in half. Completely different from before, there are no ups and downs of emotions. Close your eyes and taste it carefully, chew it carefully, and enjoy it with a face. This state of affairs made the audience panic. In this state, is it delicious or not? I'm really anxious, and I don't speak. Every face is intoxicated. What else to say? It must be delicious. I really want to taste the taste of this soul pack, and I really want to be soothed. 39, the audience chatted. Then, the judge picked up another green bun and took a bite. This dough is as soft as cotton, and after a bite, the mellow and rich soup slowly overflows. 39, it's incredibly tender, and it's, as the judge said, he subconsciously opened the whole 070 bun and was instantly surprised. The stuffing of this bun is sea cucumber. The sea cucumber can be soaked in such a short time. This is amazing. 9. Then a judge next to him picked up the white bun and opened it. This one has shark fins in it. Shark fins are mixed with the soup, creating a lifelike texture. 39, another judge picked up the black bun and opened it. This black bun is abalone. Can make the texture of abalone so soft. 99. The most important thing is that each bun has the fragrance of bamboo.
No more novels? Take part in the voting. The most requested novels and those with the most likes will be chosen for publication on euroaudiobooks.com. There, I can upload as much as I want without the risk of receiving a strike. Our 18 novels and other content that exceed what is morally acceptable are only published on Patreon or the free novels page. Remember, the site is funded by donations on Ko-fi and Patreon memberships.